Good morning and happy Saturday. I guess unless you're on the East Coast, then it's like 1:30 in the afternoon. What's going on, guys? Tired? I see you tired. It's a beautiful poem, Tired. That poem speaks to my heart. I too am tired. 3 weeks left. 3 weeks left, guys. We are in the home straits. What's happening, Reverend? Why hasn't he had a Big Mac attack yet? Oh, I'm sure he has. Maybe he's a body double. Let's see. What do we got going on today in the world of MAGA? We've got the good liars heading out to Pennsylvania, talking to them. There's so many. The Trump flags have they have duplicated exponentially. The Trump flags are reproducing at a rate that says we are anti-flag abortion. There really shouldn't be this many flags for anything. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just too many flag, guys. We got Bob Woodward, who came out recently and exposed Donald Trump. If you want to call it exposing Donald Trump, it's just Donald Trump being Donald Trump. I don't even, like, at this point, I don't understand how anybody doesn't know who Donald Trump is. This idea that Donald Trump came out and said things like, you got to con people and you got to take advantage of them and you got to, like, when they're down, you got to kick them. You got to keep them down. Yet that's, you guys didn't know that that's what Donald Trump thinks? It's weird to me. It's weird to me after all this time now, there's still people that, like, were, like, exposing Trump. It's like, I think he's been exposed. We've seen it all, guys. We've seen it all in 3D. We got a David Pakman video about Ben Shapiro being stunned by how nuts Trump is. I'll believe that when I see it. Ben Shapiro went from a never Trumper to being a Trump pumper. Okay, Trump humper and a pumper and a humper. We got Adam Mockler. This lady, I was like, take one look at that picture right there, and I was like, oh, we watching this video. Dude, you wake up in the morning and you paint your face like that, you get a shirt that has Trump faces all over it, you get your Trump pen out, you get your Trump hat on. It's so goddamn weird, dude. It's so weird. We got Obama making some comments, and I want to listen to these comments because I heard a little bit about what he said, but this is a more, I don't know, intimate engagement that's going on here. We've got Nick Fuentes saying not to vote Trump, and I'd like to get your guys' opinion on this one, because this one's like, to me, this says a lot of different things, right? It says Nick Fuentes could be attempting to cast shade on Kamala Harris. It could be that Nick Fuentes genuinely is butthurt that Donald Trump doesn't love him anymore and won't take him to events, that he got dropped for Laura Loomer's racist ass. I mean, it could be so much. It's weird. It's weird in the Trump camp. When you have this, like, kind of like fighting over each other, you are crawling, fighting, pulling each other down, all to be Trump's favorite racist. Who they should have, after Donald Trump loses in 2024, they should have a reality show like The Bachelor, Trump's favorite racist. Just line up the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Lauren Louvers, the Nick Fuentes, and then you could have, like, Kanye West. He could host it, right? Kanye West could host it. It would be amazing. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the stream. Appreciate you guys. This guy, he's a fellow ginger, and he seemed pretty funny, so we're going to watch his video. All right? And we got our boy Luke Beasley. We haven't watched any Luke Beasley in a while. Crowd flees rally as Trump loses it on stage. We've recently been talking about how I've been watching Trump so long that I am becoming like a Trump translator. Like now, like when I'm listening to his videos and he's like, they don't leave. They're not leaving. They're not leaving. It's just that I take pictures and then they want to take the pictures. And then this woman, her husband owns the building. He owns the building. They're not leaving early. They're actually just, they want to take the pictures. And I'm like, I can almost understand what this moron is trying to say. I almost got it. It only took me like 6 or 7 repeats of listening to it, but I was like, I almost understood what the fuck he was trying to say. That's kind of scary. All right, let's take a look at chat. Who else is here? We got Tired and Reverend. We got AJ. We got Talia. Happy Saturday. Happy you guys are here. Don't forget to like the stream, please. So let's take a look at some videos. I'm on here real early today because we got an early game halfway through the day. We're getting close to the end of the soccer season, which is actually just the beginning of another soccer season. Tip to tip. What about Alan? Talia says Nick didn't like Trump saying lost by a whisker. Yeah, well, you know, in that white supremacy culture, you know, those guys are very insecure. And they don't like it when somebody even insinuates that they're losers. And that's why it's so much fun to not insinuate they're losers, but to straight up tell them to their face they're losers. That's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing. Yeah, that's why incels, the word incel just triggered white supremacy for like all of time. The word incel will forever live in infamy in the white supremacist community. It will always be a no word. It's in the curse words now. So let's check out. We should probably start with. Where should we start with? Let's start with the Good Liars video. This is Pennsylvania. This is a swing state. I've seen people talk about everything from it doesn't matter, Kamala Harris is going to win by a landslide, to it doesn't matter, Donald Trump's going to win by a landslide, to I've seen 538 people talking about because of 4% of a margin, it could go either way. I've seen Alan Lichtman, the man who's called 9 out of 10 of the last presidential elections correctly, including the Trump in 2016 and the Biden in 2020, said Kamala Harris is going to win. There's no such thing as an October surprise. He's not changing his tune on this. October by October, people have already voted. But I think this is more than who wins the presidential election. I think it's more important than that. I think Kamala Harris is going to win. I don't think it's going to be a landslide. And what concerns me about America isn't specifically whether Trump or Harris wins, but more or less why that's even a question. You know, Donald Trump has gotten people to no longer believe any news. But then they'll go to TikTok, they'll come to YouTube, they'll go to X, and they'll believe everything that they read on there. It's insane. Now Donald Trump has gotten people to no longer trust fact-checking. Any fact-checking. Unless it's fact-checking that says he's correct. It's more than Trump versus Harris. It's reality versus this, like, created reality. And that's much more concerning. Because when you look at the states that are currently considered swing states, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, New Mexico, Nevada, these are places that are genuinely kind of purple, right? So you could say that they're kind of the battlefront for the sanity of America. Alabama, fucking crazy. Okay, it's gone. We're past it, right? Okay, but Wisconsin still on the teetering edge. Nevada still on the teetering edge. Georgia, of all places, still on the teetering edge. And I really feel like we've gotten to a point now where it's not about who's winning this election. It's about the future of the sanity of America and which one of these states is going to finally put their foot down and say, we believe in facts and we believe in reality, and we're going to join the side that believes in facts and reality. Because California and New York can't do it on their own. So let's just check this out. Let's see. What's up, R's wife? AJ says, if Trump lost by a whisker, what was the whole insurrection thing for? Fucking reality. Right there, AJ. It wasn't a whisker. Got his ass handed to him by Joe Biden is what happened. That's why he's so sad. Okay? If it was actually a whisker, he would be like, we could do it this time. We're going to be all right. No, he got his ass handed to him by Joe Biden in 2020, and he has not stopped crying about it since it happened. He's like every fighter that's ever lost a fight and was like, I had like a bad knee going into it, and also like I was having a fight with my wife, and like I had to take the kids to school, and yeah, so that's why I had a really bad performance last night. But he's been saying it for 4 straight years. It's like if a fighter never stopped talking about the loss they had like 4 years ago. That's what Donald Trump is. Anyways, what up, Junior? Let's check out this video by the Good Liars, my favorite liars, 2 of my favorite comedians on the internet, and I believe they're in Pennsylvania, Erie, Pennsylvania, for a Trump rally. So let's take a look at this. You guys tell me, is it illness or is it education?
If Donald Trump wins the
Oops. Oh, why isn't that working? That's not supposed to be that way. Oh, I think I'm connected to my phone. Whoops. Hold on 1 second. Technical difficulties. Drink. I mean, if you're on the East Coast, drink. If you're on the West Coast, you can too. But boy, is it early. Let's see. Blue button. There we go. Connect. All right. There we go. Let's turn these boys up a little bit too. There we go.
2024 election, will you trust the results?
Yes, I will.
If Kamala Harris wins the 2024 election, will you trust the results?
No. And I know that sounds like a double standard, but it's not.
Well,
wait, what? He said that sounds like a double standard, but it's not. Nah, dog. It sounds like a double standard because it is. What the fuck? Hold on, one more time.
if Donald Trump wins the 2024 election, will you trust the results?
Yes, I will.
If Kamala Harris wins the 2024 election, will you trust the results?
No. And I know that sounds like a double standard.
Dude, they say it with their chest, too. That's the scary part. Like, they don't even think about it. They're just like, no.
But it's not.
Well, that is a double standard.
Well, it's not.
Do you feel like there's a problem with the political rhetoric in this country? A lot of Republicans are criticizing Democrats, saying to tone down the rhetoric. Do you think rhetoric is a problem in the country?
Why do all the Trump supporters look like they're like, not a single one of them looks like they can fight, but they all look like they want to fight, but they don't look like they can fight.
Rhetoric in this country. A lot of Republicans are criticizing Democrats, saying to tone down the rhetoric. Do you think rhetoric is a problem in the country?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
And
but I know if KAMALA gets in, we're going to have
She
World War
said
III.
KAMALA.
So we definitely don't want her in.
And this is one of your top sellers here?
One of them, yes, sir.
And it says, Trump that bitch?
Yes. Yep.
We're here to support our president.
Dude, I love how they just like, they don't even
World War III.
see it.
So
This
we
is
definitely don't want her in.
amazing.
And this is one of your top sellers here?
One of them, yes, sir.
She's
And it
just
says,
like,
Trump
yeah,
that bitch?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
We're here to support our president, Donald Trump. The last time we saw him and supported him, my son and I were at Washington, D.C., January 6th. I pulled him out of school for that day. We went there, supported him, had a great time, and got our...
Had a great time at the insurrection. Come on down, January 6th, Washington, D.C. for the insurrection. Pull your kids out of school. Tell your wife you won't be coming home tonight because your ass is going to be in jail. What? This is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't think it's just this election. I think it is the sanity of the United States of America is at risk. At risk. Pulled his kid out to go to the fucking insurrection, dog. There's a fucking gallows there.
Washington, D.C., January 6th. I pulled him out of school for that day. We went there, supported him, had a great time, and got our lung full of tear gas and left. So we were there for about 9 hours.
So you were there on January 6th.
Absolutely, my son and I.
And so what did you participate in that day?
We participated in just talking to a lot of wonderful patriots there, praying for our president. We got to witness firsthand what actually went on.
What actually went on there, in your opinion?
I saw, once we got to the Capitol, the people...
Why would you take your kid to something like this? This is so strange. Like, my kids are pretty intelligent kids, and they understand things. Like, I have long conversations with my kids, like hours-long conversations with my children. My kids are preteens and teens, but we can have long conversations about important topics. Look at this kid, dude. Now, I don't like calling out children, so I'm not calling out the child, but the kid has a Trump hat on. The kid has Trump written across her forehead. The kid has 2024 on her cheeks. Why the fuck would you do that to your child? That is so goddamn weird. Can you imagine, like, a kid that said Reagan across their forehead? Like it said trickle-down economics on their face? That's actually weird to say. That is so goddamn weird. Why would you dress your kid up in Trump gear? What the fuck is wrong with people? Oh my God, that's weird.
We got to witness firsthand what actually went on.
What actually went on there, in your opinion?
I saw, once we got to the Capitol, the people that were egging people to come into the Capitol weren't the people.
What up, Great Bill?
In the millions that were there. They were something, I don't know who these guys were.
They were part of some militias there, some of the people that have been arrested and charged?
I don't know about that. We could have easily went in, but after I got a lung full of tear gas and so did he, we backed off. Now, this was 3 years ago, so he was only 12 at the time.
Holy
That's your grandson?
shit.
That's my son.
Son? Oh, okay. Sorry. No offense.
And he's not adopted, okay? So he's not adopted. I cranked him out at Camp Lejeune. He was born there, North Carolina, in 2009.
This guy cranked him out? Sir, which orifice did he come out of?
You cranked him out in 2009?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So are you saying that Kamala Harris is actually wearing earbuds?
Yes. Yes. When she goes into a debate, take out her earrings.
You're saying she
You
should
don't
have
see-
to not
you see
wear
Trump
her
go-
earrings.
You don't have to worry about that, sir, because Donald Trump doesn't want to debate Kamala again. Donald Trump has dodged a Fox debate. I'll debate as long as it's on Fox News with the people that I like and the rules that I need to win that debate. And he said, no, thank you. They say, Kamala Harris would love to debate you on Fox News with your rules. And he was like, I'll pass. He left that debate quicker than people are leaving his rallies. Bruh, why are all these people so goddamn weird, man? Like, every one of these people. Remember, like, I said this when I would watch the Jordan Klepper interviews. people would say things like, well, it's like the same people, and they're probably like paid actors, or they'd be like, yeah, so there's like 2 or 3 dumb Trump supporters, bro. Like, there's dumb people in all groups. Man, over the last 2 years, just the last 2, okay? We're not going to go all the way back. Just the last 2 years that I've been on YouTube, watching these people, I have seen a huge variety of types of people, but they're all the same form of dumb. And they're also the same form of weird. Donald Trump has a type. These people are so goddamn weird.
Yes. When she goes into a debate, take out her earrings.
You're saying she
You
should
don't
have
see-
to not
you see
wear
Trump
her
go-
earrings.
You see Trump going in with an earring?
Does that feel like a conspiracy theory a little bit?
We're done.
I've heard a lot about you gentlemen already. Yeah. We're here in Erie, Pennsylvania, lovely. I'm here in the volunteer team. You have any questions you'd like to ask, or how's it? Anything at all?
Former President Trump, what is going to be your tax policy in your next administration should you win?
Dude, I was going to say, it's going to mess up your
Thank you for
voice,
the great
bro.
question, but unfortunately I do not speak to fake news. Thank you.
That's actually
All right,
pretty
well,
funny.
there you have it. A very accurate Donald Trump impression, actually.
I saw him here in
Horrible
Erie,
impression.
Pennsylvania before.
You're correct, Ellen.
So
but
city
right
officials
on
said that
with the I
at
will
that
not
last
talk to
rally,
you.
they submitted a bill to Donald Trump for $35,129, and he has refused to pay.
Dude, what? The shirts. Yes, I'm a Trump girl. Get over it. Like, not, dude, no one cares. Everybody just feels bad for you. Like, ain't nothing to get over, lady. Like, it's not like I'm like, oh, we lost a good one. Aw, damn it, we lost Karen. Karen looked like the ultimate warrior, dog. She said, yes, I'm a Trump girl, get over it. These people project so much dumb shit, man. Oh, God. It like no one is like at home watching this video being like, fuck, we lost a good one. Man, I wish we could have had her. Man, she could have brought all the best conspiracy theories with her. She brings a lot of energy to the ring.
At that last rally, they submitted a bill to Donald Trump for $35,129, and he has refused to pay it. Does that bother you?
Who submitted that to him?
The city,
Erie?
Erie.
No.
Yes.
No, I mean, no, it doesn't bother me.
I just know I want him to get
Yes.
in, and I don't want KAMALA in.
You
Definitely.
don't want
Kamala.
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 Yeah.
Are you? There isn't a candidate named Kamala in the.
Kamala, however you say her name, the president, the other president.
Bro, they're like so like fourth grade. Fourth grade. That's right. I say Kamala. There was that dude the other day in that one interview. He's like, I'm not going to be like that person and mess up her name. Kamala. And I want to like actually believe that they're just being like fourth grade immature, insulting people. But I just actually think they're just dumb. I'm not sure they even do this on purpose, man. I think that they're just stupid. I don't think that this lady mispronounces Kamala's name. I think she's just like, what? How am I supposed to say it? You guys are trying to make me like speak right. Now, like that, you're taking away my freedom of speech. Okay? If I want to be fucking dumb, I'm allowed to. Trump that bitch. Dude, look at the fucking table. Like, you gotta, like, when you look at that table, you got orange hair hat, you got fucking gun shirts, Trump that bitch shirts. When you look at something like that, you recognize that your life did not take the path that you hoped it did when you were, like, 6 years old. When you were like, I want to be an astronaut. When you were like, I'm going to be a teacher. Ain't no 6-year-old ever said, I hope to one day be selling Trump that bitch t-shirts next to some porta potties at a Trump rally in Erie, Pennsylvania. No 6-year-old. That is not a, like, they don't give, like, courses. I mean, if Trump wins, they might give courses. Dude, this is a life that did not go right, my friends.
You don't want who in?
What up,
Kamala.
Paul?
Kamala.
Yeah.
Are you? There isn't a candidate named Kamala in the.
Kamala, however you say her name, the president,
Oh.
the other president. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other
Kamala,
president.
is that-
Kamala. Oh, okay.
So you really want Donald Trump to win?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Donald.
If
I like.
Donald.
Now he's fucking up Donald's name. Oh, I love these guys. They're so great. Reverend says, I think they doubled down on stupid so many times that they would rather be seen as stupid when this all blows over. Reverend, that is like, I think that's the truth, bro. I think that it's like, and the reason I said it is because of the way I grew up, right? Like, I grew up in the trailer park, so I kind of know how all these people are, right? Like, the type of person that's like, fine, you can call me racist, I'll be racist. And it's like, okay, so if your way of thinking is that if somebody calls you racist, that you're going to double down and be more racist, then they were right that you were racist. You didn't decide to be racist after they called you racist. So it's kind of the same shit here, right? They won't talk about me like I'm stupid. Well, hell yeah, brother, I'll be stupid. Yeah, you were stupid the whole. You can't just like. I owned it. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kamala is that?
Kamala. Oh, okay.
So you really want Donald Trump to win?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And if Donald Trump doesn't win, will you be upset?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because
She
we're gonna
don't
have World
care.
War III and all kind of stuff's gonna break loose with her. She's letting all these people from other countries come over here, terrorists, and it's just not good. It's not good.
And how long would you say you've been a supporter of Donald Trump?
I really don't do politics. I've really only voted once in my life, but I think I might
You
vote
don't
this year.
say.
Oh, so you've run this stand for 9 years and you haven't
I
voted?
only voted for Barack Obama. That's the only president I ever
really?
voted for. Yeah.
Dude. They're fucking nuts, bro. They are nuts. This is why the two people that decided they wanted to assassinate Trump were such weird-ass people, okay? Like, I've been saying this about the Bernie supporters, Occupy Wall Street shit. Like, Tim Pool was an Occupy Wall Street guy, right? That's where he got popular, with Vice. Well, I think he was did the Occupy Wall Street stuff, and then he became Vice. These are some of the strangest people. And sometimes I think people on the left don't want to, like, admit that these people used to be one of them. But the reality is they were. Like, I said this, like, about where I work. I watched a ton of people that were straight up, like, going to gay pride festivals, that hated Donald Trump, that were like, this is like, he's the worst human being, he's a misogynist, he wants to, take away LGBT rights, and now those people support Donald Trump. And it's because they're looking for love in all the wrong places. Because that's what it is. It's just like, Donald Trump is like, he's like the fucking, like, the best example of just an open door that will accept anybody as long as they tell him they love him, right? Like, it's just a straight up cult. Like, when you get to, like, the cult level, you realize that there's, like, some people there that you're like, you shouldn't really be here. Like, you're a pretty smart person. I'm not talking about this lady, okay? But you run into a couple people that you're like, wow, you're really intelligent. Why are you in this cult? And it almost boils down to, like, these really, like, basic things. So there are people, I know everybody on the left wants to be like, she's lying, she never voted for Obama. I bet she did. The number of people that I've ran into, I even know one that's personally know one that was a Bernie supporter, that now is a Trump supporter. And it's so weird because it's like Donald Trump is the exact opposite of Bernie Sanders. But I truly believe it's because it's like the third party thing. It's like no one has taken us seriously forever. And so now, I've joined up with Donald Trump. It's like if you're a Raiders fan your whole life and you're like, man, we never get any respect. We never get any love. And then like the Patriots got good and you were like, you know what? I could be a Patriots fans. And Patriots were like, dude, we don't have any fans. And this is a long time ago. Okay. This is a long time ago. We're talking way back when. The Patriots fans were like, yeah, come on over. Yeah. Well, you can be a Patriots fan. Now you can't be a Patriots fan anymore because now they have a fan base. But that's how it kind of feels. It's really strange. It's really, really strange.
Oh, so you've run this stand for 9 years and you haven't
I
voted?
only voted for Barack Obama. That's the only president I ever voted for. Yeah.
So you went around the country selling all this stuff for Trump and you didn't vote in the previous elections for him?
No, never.
What do you think's really going on
like,
in the country right now?
They're trying to push socialism through, unfortunately, and people are not informed.
I met the president in 1968 when my father was working for his father in Brooklyn, New York.
Did your father like his father? Was it a good relationship?
He worked at least 10, maybe 12 years on the Trump villages in both Brooklyn and Queens, New York. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, that's trippy. I have an interview with Steven. Goddamn, I can't remember his last name now. I have an interview with Steven something. I can't remember his last name. But he was an activist that stopped a bunch of Trump's planning. I want to say in New York. It could have been actually just in the Midwest. In the 80s. I wonder if this has anything to do with him. That's pretty trippy stuff. Yeah, I've got a new interview next Monday I'm doing with this guy. So we're going to have a podcast coming out again soon. Not this guy.
Father like his father? Was it a good relationship?
He worked at least 10, maybe 12 years on the Trump villages in both Brooklyn and Queens, New York. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. So that is the hero right now of our country.
A lot of people...
They have such like basic like ideas of why he's good. And is this man wearing two shirts? It looks like he's wearing two shirts. They have such like really basic bitch reasons for why they like Trump. It's so strange.
So that is the hero right now of our country.
A lot of people accuse Trump of not paying bills in his construction company. You kind of have an inside track. Did he pay his bills? Did people like working with him?
Of course he did.
He always paid his bills?
Yes, he did.
Because here in Erie, they've asked him for a $35,000 payment for the previous rally, which he has ignored. And they say he probably won't pay again.
Well, that's the way they're framing it.
No. They sent him a bill for $35,000.
Wow.
Right. He pays his bills. There was the best 10 to 12.
He got a bill for $35,129 that he refused to pay.
Okay.
Oh, look, he got pulled
Thank
away.
you.
The good moment to head out then? Okay, great.
You have a shirt here and
That's
it's Trump and
hilarious.
then you've put duct tape over another name. What's the name that's under there?
That would be our former Vice President, Mike Pence.
And why did you put the tape over Mike Pence's name there?
Well, it's not just because he refused to decertify the election. It's because Mike Pence has come out as the rhino that he's always been and said that those of us that vote for...
Calling Mike Pence a rhino, it just also further explains how these people aren't even like really conservatives. They're just MAGA cult members. They're not really conservatives because Mike Pence is like the epitome of Republican values. He's super religious. He's super small government. He's super like, I want to be all up in your womb, making all your decisions for whether or not you can have an abortion or not. Like Mike Pence, he's a garbage human being. He is probably the first horseman of the Handmaid's Tale, for sure. All of those things. In no way do I support Mike Pence. But if you want to talk about just straight up conservative values, Mike Pence is the prime example. Mike Pence is a living, breathing, real life religious conservative. This is what makes this like whole movement of MAGA so goddamn weird. Mike Pence is a rhino? Yeah, is Reagan a rhino?
Because
Exactly,
he refused
ours,
to
like, what?
decertify the election. It's
What?
because Mike Pence has
They
come
don't
out
know
as
the
the rhino
words
that
they're
he's always
using.
been and said that those of us that vote for Trump are toxic.
Did you put the
Yeah,
tape
you
over
are!
Mike Pence's name because you believe he should have refused to certify the election results?
Well, I felt that way at the time. I don't know. I still believe that the election was stolen and that there were too many inconsistencies to know whether or not it
These
was legitimate
people
or
are
not.
so
So I guess I could
psycho.
lean towards yes on that.
So in this next election, Kamala Harris, she's the vice president.
Correct.
If she loses the election and then decides that she says there's voter fraud and things like that, and she decides she is not going to certify the election results, how will you feel about that?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to decide that on election night or whenever the results are determined. I don't expect that.
Dude, he knows exactly how he feels about it. The crazy thing about all these people is they're smart enough to know that if they say certain things that like everybody's going to see them talking. But then they'll say like all kinds of other crazy shit. It's like their bar for the dumb shit that they'll say like is like it's just like right at treason. Like treason is right here and they're willing to say dumb shit all the way to about right here. And then they're like don't want to get a visit from the FBI. And I think that's actually what it is because back when Trump was on trial in New York, all these QAnon people were in these Telegram groups and they were saying to each other like, yo, like go protest, like Trump needs you and all this stuff. And then like a QAnon person would come in and would be like, no, don't do that. They're trying to round us up. They're trying to round us up so that way they can January 6th us. And I think that all of these people like this guy are in those groups and in those forums reading that shit. And he's like, fuck. The FBI could come get me. Don't want that to happen. Like, the FBI doesn't even care about you, dog.
I'll have to decide that on election night or whenever the results are determined. I don't expect that we're going to have a result on election night.
Right. If Trump wins and she refuses to certify the election results, how will you feel?
Well, that's her right.
Okay.
She can refuse to certify.
Okay.
That's her right.
Good to
And
know.
then, and then if
And then we'll just have to go through the same process that we did last time.
but if she refuses to certify and then makes herself president, you'd be okay with that?
No.
You wouldn't be okay.
No.
But you did want Mike Pence to do the same thing.
Trump, dude, is
like I said, I
weird.
wanted to at the time. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
What is this
the
shirt here?
hell?
Donald Trump
Bills
for
fan.
America.
Bills
The
fans.
old tank. Let's go America.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Is this how you picture Donald Trump?
Okay, in this guy's defense, he's a Bills fan. That means he's bounced his head off the concrete at least 3 or 4 times in his life, okay? I love my Bills fans, but y'all throw yourself through like fire tables and you allow each other to suplex each other on concrete and shit like that. Like, no one should ever take advice from a Bills fan when it comes to politics. Sorry, Bills fans.
What is this shirt here?
Donald Trump for America. The old tank. Let's go America.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Is this how you picture Donald Trump?
Shit, exactly.
Yeah. Bald eagle.
No, like
guns.
ECW shit.
Protecting
Great
America.
Bill. ECW.
For sure.
It says you're fired, and then it's like on the barrel of the gun.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
When Biden
Look at this guy.
looking for a vice president,
he
he said he wants a woman.
Hold on. Look at his hat. He has a "They're eating the pets" hat. And it looks like he made that shit himself. Like he screen printed that at his house. Oh my god, these people are so weird. He got a chain on, dog. He got a chain on with a Trump 2024 medallion. A shirt that looks like it says Donald fucking Trump. A hat that says they're eating the pets. And then he's just like, I'm going to finish it off with this red plaid. God damn, these people are so weird. Oh, he has a
From
gold
the barrel
chain,
of the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When Biden was looking for a vice president, he said he wants a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
What
shit.
the
You
hell?
like that?
Oh, that was coming from the necklace.
Name that. Name that sound.
It's from a game show.
Right. What game show?
Price is Right.
Come on.
Oh, Price is Right?
There you go!
And I noticed your shirt here, Donald Trump wearing shirtless with a very tight body. Is that what do you think he looks like with his shirt off?
What in the hell, dude? Dude. No.
Right. What game show? Come on.
Oh, Price is Right?
There you go!
And I noticed your shirt here, Donald Trump wearing shirtless with a rhetoric.
Oh,
Do you think rhetoric?
God damn it. That's approaching levels of weirdness.
Trump wearing shirtless with a...
That's approaching a level of weirdness that, like, that's concerning. Dude, all right, guys. If you walked into somebody's house, right? Like you were there for a dinner party, some high class, hot people shit. You're there for a dinner party, and you're like, hey, can I use your restroom? And they're like, you know what? The hall bathroom is occupied. Why don't you go ahead and use the one in my bedroom? And you know that moment. You, like, open the door. You don't want to be nosy. You don't want to, like, look too much into somebody's bedroom when you use that. So you kind of, like, you do your thing. You walk with your head down. But you take a glance, right? Like, you want to see around. You want to see if there's a big sex toy just hanging out on the nightstand. You want to just take a glance, right? And, like, you walk past somebody's closet, and you see that shirt just hanging on a hanger. Dude, I'm leaving. I'm coming out of the bathroom like, so, Brenda, let's go. You know, I've got diarrhea. Think it's best if we take off. That's a weird ass shirt, dude. What up, Nana? Dipping out hard. Exactly, R.A. Dude, if you saw that shit hanging in somebody's closet... Okay, how about this? Even better. Your mom passes away. God bless her heart. She is a wonderful woman, okay? But your mom passes away, and you got to go through her things. Or even worse, your dad passes away, and you got to go through his things. And you're separating shit out. You're like, my sister gets that. My brother gets that. Uncle Tom gets the guns because he loves guns. And then you're like, what the fuck? That's going to Goodwill. Dude. That's a weird thing to own. Let's just be honest. It's a weird thing to own.
Name that.
Oh, we can't do this. I don't want to do this, dude, again.
Shirtless with a very tight body. Is that what do you think he looks like with his shirt off?
Possibly.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
If you had to bet
awkward.
on it, do you think that's what he looks like with his shirt up?
No.
Just hopeful thinking, I guess.
Why would
what
you
the
want to
fuck
be
is
here
that
to cheer
mean?
this fellow on?
What makes Donald Trump so special?
Oh my goodness, his honesty,
Thanks,
his
Great Pill.
bravery.
Donald Trump, you think is a very honest guy?
Oh, he's horrifically, wonderfully honest.
Horrifically honest.
Horrific.
And
That's
wonderfully
a
honest.
strange
So he
choice
said
of
that
words.
he won the 2020 election. Was that an honest thing to say?
I believe so.
He said just the other day, we actually lost it by a whisker.
Well, maybe he's had more pertinent information.
Pertinent.
Any final message you would
pertinent
leave for
information.
Donald Trump if you were watching this?
Just watch. They're going to steal the election, and they're going to try to set you again. Because
Hold on, guys. Is that Mike Lindell? Guys, doesn't he sound like Mike Lindell? Is Mike Lindell back on the crack? Did he lose a bunch of weight, or is that Ozempic? Is Mike Lindell doing Ozempic and crack? Is Mike Lindell mixing up crack with some Ozempic? All right, let's listen to it one more time. You guys tell me. I think this guy sounds like fucking Mike Lindell, guys. It might be Mike Lindell or RFK Jr. I'm not sure.
Watching this?
JFK Jr.
Just watch. They're going to steal the election, and they're going to try to set you again because the Democrats.
Dude, tell me that's not. That dude sounds dead on Mike Lindell.
Trump, if you were watching this?
Just watch. They're going to steal the election, and they're going to try to set you again because the Democrats are behind it. Absolutely.
Dude, even the way he
sure
says
of all that?
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure that the Democrats are behind. They try to stop him.
Will you trust the election if Trump wins?
Holy
Absolutely.
shit,
Will you trust the election if Kamala wins?
Nope.
There you have it.
Oh
He was
my
up
God.
about 600,000 votes in Pennsylvania. I woke up, he was down 60,000. Something's wrong.
So what happened?
These guys aren't sports fans. Like, so when the Patriots were down 28-3 to the Atlanta Falcons after halftime, do you think that the Atlanta Falcons won that Super Bowl, or do you think that they lost that Super Bowl? They're like, well, of course they won. They were up at halftime. Are you stupid? They're not sports fans, these people. Definitely not
There was
sports
they
fans.
had a law in Pennsylvania where they couldn't count the mail-in and absentee votes until Election Day. So they were counting them throughout the day, and that's why you saw the number change there.
I don't believe that. You have a right to say that, but I got a right to believe what I want to believe.
Right.
And
But that is the
So there it is. So this is what I'm saying. When you talk about fact checking and you go, okay, so like let's actually just like fact check what you just said. You said that there was a 600,000 vote lead for Donald Trump. Well, when we look at that, we actually see that the ballots that were absentee weren't allowed to can't be counted until the voters' day. Like that's all stuff that you can go and fact check and like find out. Like if you really don't believe what this guy's saying from the Good Liars, you can go and look and see like did they have that law? Did they do those things? Is that actually what happened? You can do those things. But these people choose to not do that. And instead of saying like, oh, that's something that maybe I could look into and then maybe like rebut your argument. I'm not even saying you have to agree with them. You could say, I will look into what you're saying and then I will rebut your argument with whatever I believe is correct. But they don't even want to go that far. All they want to say is, I don't believe what you believe, and that's okay. I get to have my own facts, my own reality, and you can take yours over there. It's just you're wrong and I'm right. Like, that's the problem with the whole Donald Trump now doing the fact-checking thing.
They were
Saying
counting
it is
them
real,
throughout the
because
day,
I say he
and
is,
that's
exactly.
why you saw the number change there.
I don't believe that. You have a
prefer to
right
have
to say
reality on my
that,
side.
but I got a right to believe what I want to believe. And
But that is the fact of the matter. Like, they couldn't count them till that day.
well, I'm hearing different facts.
So you're in the family
I'm
line
hearing
from the
different
founding
facts.
fathers.
Oh!
That's an incredible thing.
My sister had it all documented and
Really?
everything.
And do you think the founding fathers would have been disappointed in the failure of Trump to transfer power peacefully?
Oh, I don't think he should have had to transfer power at all. I think he won.
Well, but he lost in a
Yeah. Lady. George Washington didn't even want to fucking revolt against the British crown. George Washington was a loyalist. Like, if he knew that Donald Trump was trying to hold on to political power, he'd be stacking bodies. What are you talking about? Jefferson is rolling in his grave. All of them would be like, Donald Trump is a goddamn disgrace to the United States of America. What are you talking about? These people are fucking dumb. God damn.
Should have had to transfer power at all. I think he won.
well, but he lost in an election. That's one of the most important things in a democracy is having an election and then admitting when you lose. Give me one reason you believe that.
because I watched the votes at the end. The
Yeah,
tallies just
brother.
don't make sense.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of.
Dude, she getting off some Jabba the
they're
Hutt
showing
vibes, dog.
hundreds of lines of
Shannon, she don't have an 8th grade report
different
card.
hacking from other countries that night. They're showing.
Guarantee it.
I've seen a lot of reports. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
We want our voters
I don't know what to tell
closed.
you.
And so just to go back to the election there. So what had happened was they couldn't count the votes till election day. In some states, it looked like Biden was winning, like in Florida, because they were counting the absentee votes as they came in. Pennsylvania, they passed a law that they couldn't count them till election day. So Trump was losing in Ohio and in Florida that night. It was called a blue mirage. And in Pennsylvania,
Bro, they just walked past, had some shooting glasses on. Somebody might want to watch this gentleman in the back.
Until election day. So Trump
better
was
get behind that
losing
protective
in Ohio
glass.
and in Florida that night. It was called a blue mirage. And in Pennsylvania, it was called a red mirage because it looked like Trump had all these more votes because they didn't count the absentee votes until that day. So they continued to count these absentee votes. And that's why the votes changed that much, because the Democrats were scared of COVID, didn't want to go to the polls. They did voted absentee and mail-in. So that's what happened there.
I'm hearing something totally different.
Okay.
So
what are you hearing?
I'm hearing that things don't change that drastically. I've been around since Barry Goldwater.
Oh, no, he didn't. Bro, Barry Goldwater would be so sad to know that you used his name. Donald Trump is the furthest from a Barry Goldwater conservative. Like, dude, are you kidding me right now? That is so sad. Don't worry, guys. He's been told something different. So just listen
Things
to whatever
don't
he
happen
says.
that way.
But it was COVID, so more people were voting absentee.
A lot of people, doing absentee ballots.
And
semis,
early voting.
It's like there was
semis of
COVID.
votes were coming in.
It's like there's a global pandemic
and
going on.
Didn't look good.
Crazy.
Right.
And there was clear instances of cheating. Hate
Clear.
to use the word,
Clear.
but that's what I'm seeing.
Because it's as soon as it's connected, those cells join together, there is a heartbeat. There is truly a heartbeat.
Oh no, this
so
lady's
at
gonna
that point
explain
in
to
the
Well, as soon as the cells join, there's not a heartbeat.
That actually isn't. No.
There is.
No.
And if you could give
No.
if
No. Oh my God. This is what's so funny about stuff like that. Like, pro-life versus pro-choice is such like a really complicated argument when you want to get into like the details of what is biological life versus what is personhood. And then somebody like that like reads like, they get something that's like spoon-fed to them by like 4chan or Donald Trump that's like, here's a study. Scientists say biological life starts at conception. And it's like, life in the eyes of a scientist is much different than it is to fucking fat Karen, okay? Like, you understand that viruses are alive. You understand that insects and animals are alive. Like, life and the conception of it, biological life, is different than what we consider like personhood. And she's like, in the study it says the two cells come together and there's a heartbeat. You gotta have a heart to have a heartbeat. If there's no heart, there's no heartbeat. There might be beat. There's always beat. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Oh my God!
Really a heartbeat. So at that point in the
Well, as soon as the cells join, there's not a heartbeat.
Yeah.
That's not how
There
it
is.
works.
And if you could give if you could give advice to
Oh
anybody
my
who's thinking
God.
about taking their son to insurrection at the Capitol, what would it be?
First of all, it wasn't an insurrection. Donald Trump was never accused of
What?
inciting an insurrection, or they would have charged him that way. It was not an insurrection.
Let me reframe the question.
Yeah.
If you could give
Attempting to
advice to anybody
overturn
who's
the
thinking about
election
taking
results.
their son or daughter to a riot at the Capitol,
No riot. We didn't see any riot. We saw a group of people inciting people. Come on into the Capitol. We backed off. Something was wrong here.
Other people have their own opinions on it, but for me, I think there has to be truly a serious situation.
Who would determine whether or not a situation was serious?
No one was like, "Come on in, come on in." They saw tourists.
I don't know. I think the woman would, but at the same time,
Hold on, I gotta hear what this lady has to say.
the situation.
Yeah. Determine.
Something was wrong here.
Other people have their own opinions on it, but for me, I think there has to be truly a serious situation.
Who would determine whether or not a situation was serious enough?
I don't know. I think the woman would, but at the same time, the situation.
Yeah. So if the woman was like, "Hey, I'm in a situation and this is the right decision for me."
Yeah, I guess because now you're twisting, because now it's like.
Oh my God, she said, now you're twisting it. And this is something I was trying to explain to somebody the other day. It's like every abortion after like 24 weeks, right? Like a late term abortion after 24 weeks is not elective. They're literally to save the life of the mother, or it's because the child is going to be born with like defects that won't allow it to live, right? Like there's no elective abortions after 24 weeks. And even abortions as a whole are less than 1% after 24 weeks, right? Less than 1% of all abortions are after 24 weeks. And someone said, well, okay, so why wouldn't Democrats be okay with saying no elective abortions? And I said, that's actually like a really good question, because if we understand that nothing after 24 weeks is being done unless it's for the life of the mother or because the child is going to be born with these defects that don't allow it to survive, you've got a good point. Why don't they? So let's think about that for a second. The reason that they don't do that is because of what happened with Kate Cox, because of what happened with Allie Phillips, because of what happened with that 10-year-old girl in Ohio that was molested and had to go out of state to get an abortion. It's because specifically with Kate Cox, she went through all the valid avenues to show that the child that she was going to have was going to potentially make her barren. She was attempting to have more children. So it could potentially make her barren, or at worst, take her life. The best case scenario in Kate Cox's pregnancy was that the child would be born with this defect, it could either die within weeks or it could live to be like a year old. I think the longest a kid with the defects that her child had or the longest one has ever lived is like 5 years or something like that, right? And so she went to the original court, said, hey, I need an exception. They said, you know what? It looks like, I think it was either the first judge or the second judge said, yeah, you get that. Ken Paxton then sued that. He said, no, that's not okay. It then went to the Texas Supreme Court, which they said, no, you don't have an exception. So if you can imagine, if you're 24 weeks pregnant and you think you might die from this being inside of you, this fetus inside of you, and you're like going to go to court, you're going to wait for your court date, you're going to have some appointments with a lawyer, you're just, imagine if you got shot. Imagine if you got shot in the stomach and you showed up to the ER and you're like, yo, I was shot in the stomach. And they're like, well, let's let us determine whether or not you've been shot in the stomach. And then they look at it and they're like, yeah, it turns out you were shot in the stomach. And you're like, cool, good to know. So can we do something about this? And they're like, question is it going to kill you? And you're like, well, anyways, I just need this shit to get taken care of. And they're like, we're going to need you to get you a lawyer. Why don't you go through a month or two of talking to your lawyer? We'll set up some appointments. And then you go through all that. The whole time you're like bleeding out. And then you're like, fine. The doctor's like, okay. It turns out, yeah, you know what? They've convinced us. We should probably help you because you are dying. And then somebody comes in the room and goes, whoa. We're sending this to the Supreme Court. Imagine that shit. You can't. You can't tell a woman, and she's got to jump through all these hoops to determine whether or not you agree with whether or not she should be allowed to not die. That's what's wrong with that. And in that conversation, I was having a conversation with a person that I consider to be sensible. I do consider them to be sensible people. And they still were like, it's really complicated. It's like, no, I don't deny that it's complicated. Of course it's complicated. That's why it's important. But if you don't get the reality of being a woman that potentially has a clump of cells within your body that everybody else cares about more than they care about you, and you're like, this thing's going to fucking kill me, and you got a bunch of dudes like sitting around going, we just need you to calm down. We just need you to chill out for a minute and let us take 3 to 4 months to run this bitch through the Supreme Court system to find out whether or not we think you should do what you think is right for you. Yet these are also the same people that are like, they're taking away my freedoms. Like, nah, bruh. The person taking away freedoms is you. Like, that's the insane part about this. And that fucking lady is like, she's so close. Like, she's like, oh, I almost get it.
This is the right decision for me.
Yeah, I guess because now you're twisting, because now it's like.
Shannon.
It is illegal in the entire United States to conduct.
What Shannon just said. Shannon said these same people are talking about replacement theory while they're forcing poor minorities to have more children. Yeah, exactly. They're like, they're taking our jobs. They're taking our spots in our kids' schools. They're taking our houses. They're taking our food. They're taking my winning lotto ticket. And they're like, and it better have more kids while they're here. They're not smart people. They're not. I hate, like I told you, we just gotta get to that point.
I guess because now you're twisting, because now it's like.
Later, Paul.
It is illegal in the entire United States to conduct a post-birth abortion.
I'll have to go digging around to find out.
But it's just
so that
it is sure, but because that would be murder. That would be.
For me, my stance is.
There is no such thing. This is like I said, we just got to start saying it. People just got to start saying it. We got to stop being willing to give these people grace. If the words post-birth abortion mean anything to you, you're an idiot. Say the words slowly. Post, after, birth, the child is out, after the child is out, abortion. Abortion happens when? That would be before the birth. Holy shit. Look, at this point, we just have to say it. It's time to... sanity is on the line, guys. We got to stop being nice. We got to just look at people that say the words post-birth abortion and just go, you don't get to talk anymore. I mean, you get to talk. You can say whatever the hell you want. But nobody's going to take you seriously. Everything that you say after post-birth abortion, like, should just be delegitimized. After you say that, like, every other word that comes out, whether it's like Trump is a good president or the election was stolen or whatever you want to say, after that, like, I just turn off. You're a fucking idiot if you believe there's a such thing as post-birth abortion. Jesus Christ, people are dumb. You gotta stop being nice to people.
Because that would be murder. That would be.
For me, my stance is I'm against it. There has to be some true dire situations.
But everyone's against post-birth abortion, so it'd be murder.
Not the mothers that actually go and do the post-birth abortion, but
they don't.
She just.
They're not doing that. They can't.
And you can't, like, so what she's doing here She's doubling down on stupidity. This is amazing.
You can't kill a baby after it's born. It would be murder in the entire country across every state.
Literally.
He was a billionaire going into this, okay? He couldn't be bought. Everybody loved Donald Trump. They loved everything about him.
Did he just say Donald Trump couldn't be bought? They say it with such a straight face. That's how you know it's a cult. Like, if you ask me, do I think that Kamala is going to be influenced by lobbying? I'd be like, yeah, and I think that that's bullshit. I think Kamala is going to be a very good president. But I also think that dark money in politics, lobbying, Citizens United, corporations or people, all that shit is still bullshit. Even if I want Kamala to be president, doesn't mean like that I think any of that is good. And I genuinely hope that she's different. But to be honest with you, I've been hurt before. So, no, I don't believe that she'll be that much different in that area. I think she'll be much more different in other areas that I care about. That's how you know it's a cult, is when somebody says Donald Trump couldn't be bought. Donald Trump, like, literally is on Wish right now. Like, you could probably get him for $14.99. It's going to take you 3 months for him to have him delivered to you. But I'm pretty sure you can get, like, multiple different versions of Donald Trump for different prices.
They loved Donald Trump. They loved everything about him. Oprah, New York, Donald Trump. They loved him.
Oprah did.
All of a sudden, he says he's a
Trump on
Republican.
blast,
He's running
though.
for president. All of a sudden, nobody likes him. How can that be?
Well, how can
You
that
think
be?
they liked him the whole time?
Well, they tolerated him, yeah.
Well, and also, this is why I hate that argument. We all know an asshole, okay? We all know a dude that you're like, you invited Ryan to the party? And somebody's like, yeah, dude, Ryan's a cool dude. And you're like, yeah, but he's also an idiot. You know he's going to fight a motherfucker. Like, the cops are getting called. Like, Ryan's going to take his pants off and run down the street, and we're all going to get arrested. You wouldn't want Ryan to be the goddamn president of the United States. Look, do I blame Oprah? A little bit, okay? Fucking Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, Donald Trump. Like, Oprah was, like, fucking spitting fucking morons out. Like, she was producing them, making them. I don't think Oprah ever had children, but she definitely had some morons. Okay? So I do blame Oprah for a little bit of this. But do you think that, like, it's like years ago, before Rogan got, like, before he snapped, before he became fucking COVID-era Rogan, and he had, like, Neil deGrasse Tyson and Brian Cox on and all these, like, really smart people on his show. There's plenty of people that were like, yo, Joe Rogan should be president of the United States. And I was like, no, that's a bad idea. Thank God I was smart enough back then to say that was a bad idea. Because I watched the show back then. Just because you hang out with a person, just because you tolerate a person, doesn't mean, like, if one of my friends became a politician that I thought was kind of an idiot, kind of an asshole, and he was like, I'm going to run for president, I'd be like, bro, no, because I'm going to have to vote against you. I'm also going to, like, have to speak out against you. Like, that's what you would do. That's what good human beings do. Good people say, even though I hung out with this dude, you guys don't want him to be the president of the United States. That's a bad idea. What the fuck do you mean? Jesus Christ. Yeah, we all know that guy, Gray Pill. There's one in every group. Every friend group has a Ryan. Okay?
And he's running for president. All of a sudden, nobody likes him. How can that be?
You think they liked him the whole time?
Exactly.
They tolerated
what
him,
Shannon
yeah.
just said.
I mean, he was very successful.
Right. Well, I remember he was saying that, Barack Obama wasn't born in this country, and people thought that was kind of a strange, maybe even, borderline kind of racist lie to push.
Rachel Ray?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what people were saying, and then it turned out it wasn't true at all. And I think that people kind of turned on him then because he kind of used it to be on Fox News to kind of create this persona, and then he just kind of said, oh, actually, it wasn't true. And people didn't like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you excited to be at a Trump rally right now?
I'm very excited.
Doug, he just said, okay. That's when the brain stops working. Like, wow, that was a lot of facts. I don't know how to respond. This guy's there to troll. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know this face. This face right here that you guys see from this gentleman right now and the way he just answered that question, that dude is at this rally to troll. Guarantee you.
Are you excited to be at a Trump rally right now?
I'm very excited.
What makes you so excited to be at a Trump rally?
If I can get in just to see Trump.
To see Trump would fill you with joy?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like
he's so high?
Trump gives you joy on a daily basis?
Yes.
What's the feeling, if you could describe it in like a word or two? What's the feeling he gives you?
Seeing the future president of the United States, amazing.
Amazing?
He is trolling, dude.
If you got in, would you
he's
probably
high. He might just
be
be
smiling
high.
the whole time?
Yes. Just be smiling, be happy, full of joy.
Full of
Do
joy.
you feel happy right now?
Oh, yeah.
The officials are saying it's at
yeah.
capacity.
He's
Are you
so
going to
high.
accept these results?
What results?
The results that they're saying that you can't put any more people in.
Why would we not accept the results?
Are you going to accept the results of that you can't get in the rally right now?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
don't see Biden.
Who do you think won the 2020 election?
Absolutely Trump.
Trump.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's what he should have said. Is how high are you right
Why
now?
are California homeowners outraged?
Dude. Alice, he should have just said that. He should have just said, "How high are you right now, sir?" How high are you? Oh man, the good liars. I'm telling you guys, like the people that have been doing this during this time, like, God bless the good liars. God bless Christopher Titus, David Pakman. You know, all of these people, and the other people too. Like, you know, some of the mainstream media that were cool people that did a good job. I don't know their names because I don't watch them. I'm sure there's like one or two. There's a couple good reporters out there, right? Still, right? You know, like, bless them, man, because we are potentially 3 weeks away from fucking Donald Trump reassuming office. I don't believe that'll happen. I think that, like, all the information that I'm looking at as far as aggregate polls, as far as like the Alan Lichtman and his choices for president, like, I truly do believe Kamala Harris is going to win. I'm not saying that because I'm a Kamala Harris supporter. Believe me, if I would be ringing the fucking alarm if I thought Donald Trump was going to win. I'd be on here like 24/7. But I really legitimately believe, just looking at information, not my feelings, just the information, that it looks like Kamala Harris is going to win. It does look like it's going to be way closer than it should be, which is stupid. But if it wasn't for Pac-Man, if it wasn't for the good liars, if it wasn't for Adam Mockler and Luke Beasley, you're 3 weeks away from this election, and you have these people that have been really like almost like service animals for us, right? Like, we're like, I'm starting to feel some anxiety, and then Adam Mockler pops up, and you're like, oh, I feel so much better, you know? He's like, I could sense your heart rate going up. So I put out this video. Like, when I first started doing this, we watched a video about mass psychosis because I'm really like intrigued by what's going on in our society. You know, I'm like that psychologist that you're like, it's weird that you're into this, these people being insane, but I am like I'm intrigued by the human mind, by the human condition. I like watching and seeing what like makes us work. Like, why are we here? Like, I'm not a religious person, so this is like, this answers questions for me, right? But one of the things that they said in that video was the way that you can combat mass psychosis, which is what I believe Trump supporters are currently dealing with. I believe that they're under the effects of mass psychosis, is that you have to mock it. You make fun of it, because shame has been a tool. Embarrassment has been a tool that we have used since evolutionary times. Like I've said before, I ground my morality in evolution. So the mocking, the Titus, the Mockler, the Beasley, the Pac-Man, the good liars, the making fun of this has many ways been, in my opinion, the most effective thing that you could do. Imagine if these guys didn't exist and Jon Stewart came back. Exactly, Manic. Jon Stewart. We got Jon Stewart back. I guess, you got to give props to Jon Stewart because he's like maybe not the original person that did it, but he's definitely the guy that made it the most popular. And I don't think people like me would exist in this format. People like Adam Mockler would exist in this format if it wasn't for Jon Stewart. That's why he's the Holy Trinity, right? Jon Stewart, George Carlin, Bill Burr. That's the Holy Trinity. We wouldn't have it without him. So, like, just imagine, though, for 1 second, take a step back and imagine that the people that have been doing what they've been doing on alternative media for the last 2 years, 4 years, imagine if they didn't exist and all you had was the mainstream media. And all you had was the fear-mongering, the hate, the anger, nobody telling jokes, nobody laughing. Just, this is serious and you should be scared. Like, don't forget to appreciate that with those guys. Don't forget to appreciate that, okay? Also, like my damn stream. Like and subscribe mine, too. Pride is coming back to bite them. Yeah, from the mass psychosis. Yeah, and that is part of mass psychosis is it's the extreme ups and downs, right? So it's like the idea of mass psychosis is that you have these like events that are really like super crisis style, like what happened with the pandemic, and then you have times of calmness. Now, during those times of calmness is when they're the most proud. There was no COVID, the vaccines weren't real. Like, that's the pride, right? Like, that's the, like, that they feel so strongly about the things they believe. And then Trump gets shot at. Oh my God, they almost took him out. And then it slopes back down into pride. They didn't get him. That's right. Trump's so strong. He's the best. You couldn't take him out. It's the Democrats who tried to do it. And then it's Trump's going to lose. And that's mass psychosis. It's these big, extreme ups and downs that create this want within a populace to give away the responsibility for the self. And that's how you create a cult, is you put people through so many extreme periods of crisis and calmness that you cause them to feel so chaotic that they reach out to one person and go, here. You take all my stuff and you hold it because you're the only person I can trust in these like trying times. So you're going to be the person that's going to keep me safe. And that's how cults are created. And that's how Donald Trump was created. And also because they are fucking idiots also. Yeah, happened on January 6th. Yeah, exactly, when Babbitt got shot. All right. Yeah, exactly what Alice just said. It's a big bunch of people who are all thinking it can't possibly be my own fault. That's why conspiracy is so popular. Conspiracy theory is so popular right now because it's a safety blanket. It's not my fault. Like, the things that are happening can't even be explained. Bro, you can't explain this with facts. Your facts aren't real. My facts are real. Like, that's the idea of conspiracy theory, is it's a safety blanket. When you don't want to look at the reality of the fact that we're in late stage capitalism where the wealth gap has grown so large that if we don't do something about it, I mean like fucking right now, that we're going to be in a place where literally the ultra wealthy will always be ultra wealthy and the ultra poor will always be ultra poor. It's really hard for some people to take that in and understand it and like apply like some type of logical solution to it. Because from my point of view, what we should be doing is electing left-leaning, progressive candidates that want to continue to work towards taxing the ultra-wealthy, closing loopholes, supporting the middle class, and bringing the poverty-stricken up out of the poverty, the level of poverty, or below the levels of poverty, into the middle class. So that way we have a much more robust middle class, because middle class is the engine of America, and the ultra wealthy start to pay their fair share, which like it's not trickled down, but it's the closest you can get to what they were actually talking about. The thing about trickle-down economics was that, like, the money doesn't, like, just, like, legitimately, like, come down to you. You have to force it down to those people, because no one's going to just give up their wealth. You can even see on, like, a logical sense, like, oh, okay, I understand why they don't want to, but for the, like, they're not being logical in the sense of that the better we're off, the better they're off. The happier we are, the happier they will be. So I really think, like, the step that most people should be taking, instead of going, oh, the Illuminati's in charge, oh, like, the dark, you know, whatever, George Soros is the one who's making my life bad. Instead, you should process the fact that you're actually one of the things holding you back. You're accountable for some of this stuff. You're accountable for your vote. You're responsible for the fact that ultra-wealthy corporations are continuing to do the things they're doing, because every time that a candidate comes out, Bernie Sanders, and says, hey, we're going to tax the ultra-wealthy, you go, but what if they leave? What if they take their ball and go home? And it's like, so once again, you're saying, like, oh, we can't do this thing, because if we do, this thing that I can't control will happen. No, you're part of it. You're accountable for it. And that's why conspiracy theories are so sweet. That, you know, they're people, like, look to put everything they have into them, because as long as they put everything they have into them, they can say that it's not their fault, whatever is going on. It's up to us. We got to stop it. We got to stop people, the ultra wealthy, from using loopholes, from taking advantage of workers. We need to use antitrust laws to break up monopolies. And Joe Biden was doing that. I didn't expect him to do it. I didn't think he would do it. I thought Joe Biden was going to be an establishment Democrat across the board. And for a lot of his policies, he was an establishment Democrat. But he also did things that were very progressive. And I was like, wow, that's actually really fucking cool. And then you look at what Kamala Harris has done as an AG, what she did as district attorney in San Francisco. And if you actually look into the information surrounding what she did, you realize that a lot of the things that she did were very progressive. She's anti-death penalty, which I'm not, by the way, but she is. She was very hard on gun violence, on felonies involving firearms. She is pro-legalizing marijuana. She is pro-helping the middle class. She wants to give $50,000 in tax breaks to new businesses. She wants to give $25,000 to homeowners. She's talked about forgiving medical debt. She's talked about, taxing unrealized capital gains on people that make more than $100 million a year. She's talked about stopping corporations from price gouging people during times of crisis, which is literally laws in something like 34 states across the country. She's just looking to add the federal strength to it. She's actually wants to do things that are very progressive for America. And at the end of the day, if she doesn't do those things, I'll call her out on that bullshit. But Donald Trump don't want to do any of those things. Donald Trump don't want anything to do with helping you. Donald Trump wants everything to do with helping Donald Trump. All right, let's watch Christopher Titus talk about, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Bob Woodward's new book just came out. And it talks about a 1980s interview with Donald Trump where, like I said before, it's not that surprising to me, but apparently some people still don't know this about Donald Trump, that Donald Trump is like, look, if people can be conned, you should con them. And he said that in an interview. Con them with force, con them with sugar. Whatever it takes, if people want to be conned, con them. That's Donald Trump's mentality.
I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Bob Woodward, the writer, journalist, investigative reporter, the guy who took down Nixon, is responsible for 2 Pulitzer Prizes and has written almost 40 books. Personally, I have only read 30, and I mean books total in my whole life, not Bob Woodward's books. Anyway, Bob's new book coming out is called War, and it talks about Trump, Biden, and the last few years. And again, this was written by a serious journalist who tapes every interview. This guy never talks about Jewish space lasers or Biden controlling the weather or microchips and vaccines. Oh, and one more sidebar. So Biden's a dementia-riddled old man or a supervillain who controls the weather. Pick a side, idiots! So in War, Woodward has found out that since 2021, sweet potato Hitler has had 7 phone calls with Vladimir Putin. And look, we know they've been buddies since 1987. We know that Trump was...
Those text messages, like, bruh, you could, like, tell me that that was generated by AI, but you could also tell me that that shit's real, and I believe either one. Because there are so many things with Donald Trump where you're like, no way that's real, and it's totally fucking real. Vlad, did you see me dancing at my rally? Pretty slick, right? Pure fire, comrade.
1987, we know that Trump was going to give Putin a $30 million penthouse in Trump Tower, Moscow. And, you know, Trump had the 2013 Miss Universe pageant in Russia. They are good friends. I mean, really good friends.
Putin even sent me a present, beautiful present with a beautiful note.
We just left Moscow. He could not have been nicer.
Russia is like, I mean, they're really hot stuff.
I think I'd get along very well with Vladimir Putin.
Then he called me a genius. He said Donald Trump is a genius or something. He said some good stuff about me. And Russia.
He said Donald Trump is a genius or something. You know what? I'm gonna start doing that, guys. I'm gonna start using you guys too. I'm gonna be like, my subscribers said that he's the best looking bald man they've ever seen or something. My subscribers, they said he's way better than David Pakman. Brian Tyler Cohen, his suits, they have nothing on what the Angry Ginger wears or something. That they said something. It was very nice of them. Whatever they said, it was all very nice. I'm gonna start using that. Oh my God. My wife, she said he's a stud or something. Or something's going in the book. It's happening.
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily.
It's like talking on the phone while taking a dump, friends. We all have one of those. So, what?
I don't have one of those. Well, I don't have anybody that calls me on the phone anymore, to be honest, Christopher Titus. Christopher Titus is older than I am. I think Christopher Titus is he 60? He does not look 60. He's aging well. He's aging well. Good job, Christopher.
In a dump, friends. We all have one of those. So, what's the big deal that Trump's talking to his murderous dictator BFF? Well, this. When Trump...
Hold on. Oh my God. Somebody Google that image and get that shit in my Discord, like, right now. That needs to be like that. That's going to be like my fantasy football icon or something like that. That needs to be used for something. That needs to be, get that in a Discord like right now.
Dictator BFF. Well, this. When Trump left the White House, he took boxes and boxes of top secret and classified documents. He then went through them like a rabid beaver on a meth binge, according to NARA. And when the National Archives and Record Administration got them back, they were all out of their folders and just kind of thrown in a box with, I'm sure, tanning lotion.
This is how crazy this cycle has been. This is how crazy it's been since 2020. Is that this was kind of like, I mean, other than obviously January 6th, this is kind of where things popped off, right? It was like Jan 6th. Then the New York indictment, which the New York indictment none of us thought was going to be that big of a deal. It turned out that Alvin Bragg is a motherfucking G, okay? Because Alvin Bragg, that case Alvin Bragg had was amazing. So Donald Trump's ass got convicted of 34 felonies. But I digress. January 6th happened. New York indictment happens. And then the Florida indictment happened. And it was like, this is real. Like when we saw these pictures, when you saw just like the classified docs box just laying in a closet that Maria, the house help, just tossed in a closet. When we saw these pictures, this is when it really got real. And it's been so crazy since this happened that this is almost like, it's like oh, do you guys remember the classified documents case? Like, that's how crazy it's been. It has been a wild ass last 4 years. It's been a wild ass decade.
I'm sure tanning lotion. They then asked if Trump had anything else, and he said, "Nope, that's it. Nothing else. Nuh-uh, nothing. Zero." The FBI then had to raid Bedbug-A-Lago and get the documents. They found documents so sensitive that the FBI counterintelligence personnel and DOJ attorneys needed extra clearances before they could even look at them. And allegedly, all the documents had donut crumbs and chocolate fingerprints on them. So, Trump had the...
And don't forget, he showed some of these documents to journalists. He showed some of these documents to an Australian billionaire that he's friends with. I mean, the Australian billionaire literally came out and, like, snitched on him. Like, he was like, I don't want to be, like, get in trouble for this shit. I don't, like, that's how crazy the type of information was that was in these classified documents. And you could say best case scenario. You could say Donald Trump is a moron, which is verifiably true. And Donald Trump, he was just throwing newspapers and shoes and pictures and boxes. He didn't realize, guys. He didn't realize that he was putting nuclear secrets in there with the rest of those documents. That's best case scenario. And in the best case scenario, there is the potential that Donald Trump, without realizing it, threw nuclear secrets into boxes that then he just haphazardly fucking stored in Mar-a-Lago, on stages, in bathrooms, that he then let people fucking just carry around with no kind of locking mechanism, just flimsy cardboard box tops on them. And then they just threw them in closets. Like, even if you want to take the best case scenario of what could have potentially happened, giving Donald Trump all the grace and faith in the world, it still means that he is incompetent and should never, ever, 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 ever be allowed around documents like that ever again in his life. Ever. Like, that's best case scenario. We're not even talking about what probably actually happened. Jesus fucking Christ. And he showed
fingerprints
Kid
on
Rock
them.
some,
So,
too. I forgot about that.
Trump had the top secret classified documents, including nuclear secrets, which he stored in the shitter at his shithole for over 2 years, from January 20th, 2020 to August 8th, 2022. And in that time, he talked to Putin at least 7 times, and I'm sure...
Dude. Donald Trump's the type of person that you have to worry about. Like, that he gives some shit to the National Enquirer. I'm saying the National Enquirer. So imagine what he'd give to Vladimir Putin. Like, just out of his own hubris. Just out of his own hubris. To be like, look what I have. Vlad, you don't think I'm a real leader? You make fun of me. But look at this, Vlad. I've got nuclear secrets. And he's like, I don't believe you. Show them to me. I'll show them to you. I'll show them to you. That's right. Look at them. I can't see them all the way over there. Bring them here. Send them to my office. I'll send them right to you. Alice says, I think he exposes people like that on purpose to use it as leverage, just as Diddy did. I think all of those dudes, to be honest with you, Alice, like, you're starting to see this, like, real pulling back of the curtain on these billionaires, the Peter Thills, the Donald Trumps, the P. Diddy's, the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world. Like, you're pulling back the curtain and you're starting to see what happens when people get this type of money, power, connections, status. And this is why I continue to make the argument that having this form of wealth and power is actually immoral. Actually immoral, in my opinion. But I agree with you. And I think that's actually why... that's why the Australian dude came out and snitched on him, was because I think the Australian dude would, like, try to, like, beat him to it, right? Like, he was like, fuck that. Nope, you're not getting me, brother. He was like, I played this game before. He's like, Diddy's already got stuff on me. You're not getting stuff too.
7 times, and I'm sure it was just about, workout programs and internet memes, and he didn't share top secret classified documents, including nuclear sites and military capability. During the same time, Trump also had the Saudis over for a golf tournament, while he had all those top secret documents. Oh, and his family got $2 billion from Saudi. I'm sure.
Dude, imagine just for like one fucking second. Like I said, we got to call craziness out for what it is. Imagine if you knew somebody, just your friend, somebody that you're cool with, and every day you were like, bro, did you see John Wayne Gacy went over to dude's house? And you're like, yo, did you see Jeffrey Dahmer was hanging out over at dude's house? And you're like, did you see that guy hanging out with all them school shooters, dude? Dude, did you see him hanging out with that mafia boss? At one point or another, you're like, I shouldn't have to make the case that the dude hangs out with, like, the arch villains of the fucking globe. Like, bro is literally inviting, like, the fucking villain league to the house. He's like, yeah, I had the Joker over. So what? Yes, Dr. Doom came over. It was completely a business relationship. Yes, Lex Luthor, he came over. We just had a beer. We watched some football. I've known Lex Luthor for a very long time. At one point or another, it seems like it's pretty logical that we could say something along the lines of, Donald Trump seems to know a lot of evil-ass people and hangs out with them and is totally cool with them. What the fuck? Oh, my God.
It's a coincidence, like Roger. I'm sure it's a coincidence, like Roger Stone getting pardoned and Jeffrey Epstein getting suicided. Sorry, he fell. A coincidence.
Yes, it's done.
Trump has had a lot of crime coincidences, don't you think? Right? I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. God damn, man. Every time new shit comes out about the guy, people go, oh, it didn't happen. If there was a laptop from Hunter that flew around the world 42 times before it even got dealt with, I don't even understand. Jesus!
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just question sometimes. I'm like, am I the crazy one? Because it just seems so goddamn apparent that none of none of it makes sense. People are like, they're like, that Jeffrey Epstein shit, that was crazy. And you're like, yeah, it was. It's fucking insane. And they're like, yeah, he had a bunch of like videos of like famous people. And there's all these people that possibly went there and did bad shit to kids. Isn't that crazy? And you're like, yeah, it is. And you're like, you see that they had a portrait of Clinton, like in a dress. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it is. And then you're like, did you also know that Donald Trump was like on his plane like multiple times and knew the dude for like fucking forever? And there's like pictures of him and Ghislaine and pictures of him and Trump and him and Diddy and him. There's videos of him talking to 10-year-olds and telling them that he's gonna date them when they're 18. Isn't that crazy? And they're like, it's not crazy. Donald Trump's a good dude. And you're like, what? They're like, you know what's crazy is that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. He didn't kill himself. And you're like, hold on. Wouldn't Donald Trump be one of the people that was involved in him not killing himself? And they're like, no. Why? It's fucking insane. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I've never met that person. I have no idea who you're talking about. Fake news. What up, fatty? That's fucking crazy. Like, literally. Yeah, total footage, Shannon. Oh, my God. Yeah, if anyone else in the world did this shit, R's wife. I keep saying it. I'm like, look at what happened with his felony conviction. 34 felonies he's convicted of. If that's you, R's wife, you are sentenced within the fucking, like, the sentencing window, right? If R's wife commits 34 felonies, is found guilty by 12 people unanimously of all those crimes, including people that like her, that only get information from her news site, she would be sentenced like yesterday. She would be in jail right now doing time. Donald Trump has literally had the sentencing of his 34 felony convictions pushed off like 3 times by what he accuses of being a Democratic judge, a shill for the Democrats. God damn it, man. They claim that this judge is like compromised. He's a Democrat. He's a terrible person. But he's literally pushed off his sentencing 3 times now. There is a 2-tier justice system. There's a 2-tier justice system. One where Donald Trump doesn't get convicted of the crimes that he was convicted of and sentenced to the crimes that he was convicted of. God damn it, man. Jay says, I made up my mind. I'll vote Kamala. But if she ends up being the worse than Biden, I will vote Republican down the ballot for the rest of my life. Jay, welcome to the dark side. Jay, I'll tell you what, Jay. I'll make you a deal. Jay. If I sit up here, if Kamala Harris gets elected, which she will, and I sit up here, and I do not call out Kamala for the things that I think that I've been talking about on here, supporting the middle class, for going after the rich, to close loopholes and tax them correctly. If I sit up here and I watch her not do those things, and I do not call her out on that, Jay, you have every right to sit here and just badmouth the shit out of me, and I will literally, Jay, I will tell my mods you are unbannable. Okay? Because, Jay, I appreciate you. And I think we should be held accountable. I think I should be held accountable. I think if I'm wrong about something, I don't want you guys to just agree with me. I don't want you guys to just say I'm right because, like, you like my stuff or you think something I say is funny. I want you guys to tell me when you think I'm wrong. Like, that's the real way to go about things. Like, that's how you should do things. Good job, Jay. I appreciate you. See that? We're doing all right, guys. We're doing some things. I want to watch this one because I saw this shit and I was like, whoa. Like, I didn't even think that they made human beings like this. Like, I mean, I see stuff at, like, sporting events, baseball games. I'm sure Trinidad got some Yankees gear, I got some Eagles gear. Like, I've seen it at sporting events, but I didn't think that they made people in the political atmosphere that did shit like this. She has a Trump shirt covered with Trump faces, a Trump badge, a Trump hat, and she has what can only be described as some really poorly put on war paint, which might be the American flag, but also might not be the American flag. Could also be like some Predator scars going across the top there, and then she got her glasses on over the top of that. Like, this is some strange stuff. 6 jerseys, $160 each. Jay, damn, dog. Damn. I got like 2 jerseys, Jay, and they're probably like $100 each. All right, so let's check out this video because this lady looks crazy. Adam Mockler, too.
You either have to vote for Kamala or Putin. Who do you choose?
Oh, definitely Putin.
Putin.
Really? Why?
Absolutely. He's for his people. He is for his people.
Yeah, Putin's values on family and on...
What? He's for the people? Dude, somebody should talk to the Russians and let them know. Somebody needs to go over to Russia and let the Russian people know that Putin's for him. He loves him. He really cares about him. This is why I can't. Exactly, Jay. Dude, look at that picture in the background, too. What is up with the Elon Musk? Dude, this is why Elon joined the Trump movement. Because if you join the Trump movement, they'll make pictures and shit about you guys. Like, if you want to ever just be, like, completely idolized, just join the Trump movement and just be like, I used to be a Democrat, and now I'm a Republican. And they're just like, bro, we made pictures of you. It's totally not a cult, though. Totally not a cult. How could you say that Putin is for the people? That is such a strange
Yeah, Putin's values on family and on traditions and, protecting children. It almost sounds like, I'm not a pro-Putin guy.
So you think the country would be better off under a rule like a Kim Jong-un or somebody, or Vladimir Putin?
Hey, I love Russia.
You do? Why?
Yeah, it's beautiful. The people are wonderful.
I'm not a fan of Putin, but Kamala is for...
That woman has never been to Russia. Do you guys see that story where those two fucking idiots, they went to Russia because they're like, Russia's a great place, and then they died? Didn't they die? I'm pretty sure they died. This is that, or they get put in jail. It's been a long time. There's been so much craziness. So much craziness. I can't keep up with all the insanity.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The people are wonderful.
I'm not a fan of Putin, but Kamala is for communism and taking our whole entire, taking us from.
Wait. Vladimir Putin idolizes Stalin. I mean, there is an argument that Stalinism was a different form of communism, but you literally have to argue that Stalin's communism wasn't what you believe communism is. Like, and most of the time that argument is actually being made by people that are pro-communist, because Stalinism obviously sent people through the gulags and stuff like that. They still, to this day, in Russia, have Stalin Day, where they celebrate Stalin, of Stalinism fame, of Gulag fame. These people make no sense. Like, there's nothing that they say that ever actually makes any goddamn sense. It is impressive that you can be wrong about this many things so many times, so consistently.
Taking our whole entire.
What up, Dark Cash?
Taking us further down the crap hole.
This is going to be a tough one, but what's your definition of communism? I just want to know.
I believe, it starts off great. I see how people can be attracted to it, like, oh, everybody's even.
Would you rather vote for VP Harris or Vladimir Putin if you had to? Choose.
I would actually vote for Putin if I had to, for the simple reason, if you understand Marxism.
Bro, you're wearing an army hat. Oh my God. If there is anybody that should be anti-Russian, it would be people in the military. Oh my God, I can't. Like I picked this video and I'm going to need therapy. I'm going to need therapy.
I would actually vote for Putin if I had to, for the simple reason, if you understand Marxism and communism, you can work within it. They don't kill business. They don't try to make everybody totally subservient. And if you've noticed, the Soviet Union, we'll call it, or Russia now, has become more capitalistic since the wall fell.
It's almost like a.
Yeah, it's an oligarchy. It's a bunch of billionaires that tell Putin what they think he should do, and then Putin does what he wants. That's literally what Donald Trump wants to turn America into. An oligarchy where people like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk are capable of telling Donald Trump what they think he should do with the country, and then Donald Trump does what he wants. Like, I'm not making this shit up. Fucking just apply a small amount of logic to what's going on over in Russia and what Donald Trump idolizes, and then apply a small amount of logic to what Donald Trump talks about doing. Donald Trump is literally just trying to emulate what they're doing over there, and that is an oligarchy. I am not interested in oligarchy. I'm good. I'd like to pass. I don't need billionaires using me like P. Diddy style.
Since the wall fell.
It's almost like a trap. Once they get you trapped, you become one of their drones, and it leads to totalitarianism.
Can I give you my point of view, respectfully push back?
I love that.
So when it comes to Vladimir Putin, I'm not a fan of him just because I simply think he is a dictator who spreads disinformation and tries to sway people. So I think on X right now, there is a lot of disinformation that makes people pro-Russia, when in reality, Vladimir Putin hates everything about the West. He hates everything about America. And he is like our enemy to the very core. He invaded Ukraine, which, do you think that his invasion of Ukraine was justified, or?
Well, with Barack Obama and John McCain setting up the biolabs with Victoria Nuland in Ukraine.
Ronald Reagan used to be.
Bruh. The moment they say Barack Obama's name, you know they're about to go off. You know they're off the rails. As soon as they say Barack Obama's name, you're like, oh, this man got triggered back in 2009 and he has never recovered. Oh my God, the biolabs.
Victoria Nuland in Ukraine.
Ronald Reagan used to be so ardently anti-Russia, and Russia has always been the antithesis of what America stands for. I mean, Russia hates the West. They want to undermine our values. So what does Kamala Harris do that makes her worse than Putin? Genuine question.
Because she's a socialist. She is bordering on dictatorship.
So you can work within Marxism and communism, but not socialism? Vladimir Putin's been trying to invade Ukraine for decades. He's been trying to restore the former Soviet Union, which, by the way, the Soviet Union was actually communist. They were a command economy, so they had communism to the core.
Yeah, and literally, Vladimir Putin has said Kiev is the birthplace of Russia, like it's the motherland. Like, there is all this other shit, like they're talking about how having a NATO base on the border, how, like, you know, global alliances are threatening Russia's, like, sovereignty and all that stuff, that these fucking Trump supporters, of all people, are the ones that spread this shit. It's so weird. But all of that stuff, like, that's just a fucking excuse. Vladimir Putin believes that there is, like, historical value for him and Russia to take back Kiev. Like I said, Vladimir Putin idolizes Stalin. He thinks Stalin's his strongman tactics. He thinks that the way that he led Russia after the Cold War was, like, all of that stuff was the tits. That was the best. The best. Vladimir Putin wants to, like, restore, like, strong traditional Russian values, right? He wants to bring Russia, well, he wants to make America, he wants to make America great again too, but he wants to make Russia great again. That's the whole point of everything that Putin is doing, and he sees symbolic value in taking Ukraine back. During Stalin's reign, when they're sending all these people to the gulags, and they're going out and they were appropriating production from people, Ukraine was even fighting back then. Ukraine was rebelling all the way back in the Cold War. Like, you have to know your history when it comes to these kind of things. And because of that, Ukraine was left to starve, to the point where there was stories of potentially cannibalism happening within Ukraine. And that was always in the idea of that Ukraine is ours. And if you rebel against us, we will punish you for it. That's what Stalin did, and it's exactly what Putin's doing. This whole, like, excuse that the fucking MAGA Republican bases came up with, that it was it's on his borders, and NATO getting stronger makes him feel like the sovereignty of Russia. All very convenient excuses. All very good excuses. But it really comes down to is Vladimir Putin wants Ukraine because Ukraine, he believes, belongs to Russia. It's crazy.
Actually communist. They were a command economy, so they had communism to the core. And over and over, he's been trying to invade Ukraine. In 2008, he invaded Georgia. 2014, he invaded Crimea. So it seems like this is a dude who kind of just has imperial ambitions. He's like, hey, I just want to grab land. And my fear, I think he spreads a lot of propaganda online and tricks people into thinking that he's, like, a good person.
I think we all spread a lot of propaganda. You know, the United States has its fair share of dealing propaganda.
So that's another conspiracy theory thing that they do right now, is they say, so isn't it bad that Russia is interfering in our elections, though? Can't we all agree that that's, like, a bad thing? And they're like, we interfere in theirs. And it's like, that's your excuse for why you're like, look, man, we burned down some houses. So they burnt down our house and we deserve it. I'm not okay with that. I didn't tell the government to go and fuck around in their elections. I'm not going to accept that Russia spreading misinformation in America to create a more divided country, to hopefully create an imbalance among our culture, to potentially destroy the American way. I'm not going to, like, shrug my shoulders and be like, yeah, but we did some bad things in Iran in the 70s and 80s, so, hey, we kind of deserve it. That is the most ass-backwards way of thinking I have ever heard of in my entire fucking life. Y'all can go fuck yourself with that, okay? I'm not going to be like, hey, turnabout's fair play, bro. It's so goddamn dumb. How many times have we put the definitions of socialism and communism in chat for people not to read it? Yeah, and they'll never read it. That's what Reverend was just saying. Reverend, they'll never read it because facts, they always say, what is it? Fuck your feelings. Facts, fuck your feelings. But the real actual thing is they avoid facts because it hurts their feelings. The facts hurt their feelings.
A lot of propaganda. You know, the United States has its fair share of dealing propaganda.
What are your main sources of news?
Okay. I have numerous sources of news, but I don't watch mainstream.
Charlie
Kirk. What do you watch? Russia Today.
Russia Today? No, never heard of that.
What do you watch?
Oh, I watch Dan Bongino.
Dan Bongino, that's where you get it from. So I want to ask you a few questions.
I don't get my opinions from him, but I believe he's honest.
Literally.
Can I ask you a few questions? So when Mike Pence in 2021 certified the results, do you think Mike Pence was in the wrong?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. The vice president has that authority.
He doesn't.
Yes, he does.
The Constitution does not say that the vice.
No, he doesn't. Once again, you can say, yes, he does, as fucking strongly with your chest as you want. That doesn't make it true. Like, at best, there's legal arguments that there were certain things that he could have done to force the election to go back to senators or governors, but every single one of them was some type of loophole where he would have had to jump through multiple hoops which weren't legally proven to make it happen. This is like say it with your chest. I'm absolutely right about this. No, you're not. The vice president does not have the power to just go, I don't think that this was all done the way I would like it to be done, so I'm going to make this other guy the president. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. This woman has never read the Electoral Act in her entire fucking life.
Absolutely. The vice president has that authority.
He doesn't.
Yes, he does.
She's painted like a clown.
The Constitution does not say that the vice.
The vice president is there to make the decision.
So
he
would you
didn't
be
stop the election. He had the authority to send it back to the state.
Okay, so Kamala Harris will be certifying this election. Would you be okay with her making a unilateral decision?
Oh, no, because you know it's going to be for her.
Okay, so why wouldn't Mike Pence's decision have been for his own ticket? He had
because he was bought off.
By who?
The deep state.
The deep state. So.
Dude, like, I bet you money if we paused it after every question, we could probably answer the questions for her.
Mike Pence is bought off. Do you think Bill Barr is bought off?
I'm up in the air with Bill Barr.
He said there was no election fraud at all.
Oh, yes, they did have suspicion of election fraud.
They found nothing, though. How come they found nothing?
Bill Barr not only said that there was no election fraud, but Bill Barr in the Mueller report pointed out something like 10 different times that Donald Trump could have been put on trial for obstruction of justice in the Mueller report. Like, Bill Barr, his main dude, has pointed out how Donald Trump is a criminal on multiple occasions and has literally told Donald Trump that there was not enough election interference or fraud to be to overturn the 2020 election. It's fucking insane. These people are morons. They are morons.
How come
election fraud?
They found nothing, though. How come they found nothing? How come the Republican
governor? They weren't meant to find.
Is the governor of Ohio Republican right now?
Yeah, that's.
Well, how come he didn't find anything?
That snake in the grass.
So you think all of these people are rhinos?
Most of them are, yes.
Interesting.
Most of them are.
Dude,
so everybody that Donald Trump surrounded himself with during his first term has essentially flipped and turned their back on him. People like Mike Pence say we no longer trust him. Bill Barr, Mark Meadows, none of these people want to be in his cabinet.
Mark Meadows.
Oh, Mark Meadows? Does that ever worry you at all? Mark Meadows even said there's no election fraud. He came out and said all of these were lies.
Yeah, okay. We'll see who's going to... No, it doesn't worry me. I know who I voted for. I know I watched the whole thing go down. I saw the people. I said, Trump's going to win this. Oh, no. The fix is in for Hillary. That was in 2016. No, Trump's going to win it. And he did. Because we stood up. We also stood up in 2020.
Hey, I can talk. Thanks for talking.
So,
dude, insane. That's the level of fucking stupidity that I'm afraid of. Like, that's the shit that, like, because that's confident stupidity. That's the type of shit that you get other people around you and you just say that shit with that much confidence, and they're not very well educated on things, or they're, you know, they want to be actually like open-minded to hearing other people's points of view, and then they hear a person talk with that type of confidence and say those kind of stupid ass things, and they're like, well, it might be true. That's what's fucking scary. That's crazy.
We also stood up in 2020.
Hey, I can talk. Thanks for talking.
So,
What's up? What's going on?
Producer, so if you want to talk to
Yeah, I can Thank you, ma'am.
I see you're like after the easy target.
Do you work for the campaign?
You're after the easy target.
Oh, well, we've been walking around. It's a democracy where people have their own agency, so if they want to talk to us, they can choose to do that. They don't need you to step in.
I just noticed like you're going for the lady with the face paint.
She wanted to talk to us, and she was more than happy. Okay. Is it fair to say that you have more trust for Donald Trump than any other institution in America right now?
But the funny thing is not a single one of those people are going to say anything different than face paint lady. Okay, you can sit there and say, well, you're just looking for the people that look the craziest. It's like, yeah, but you're just going to try to sane wash whatever she says. So instead of being like, well, yeah, Bill Barr is a piece of garbage, instead you're going to be like, well, there's a lot that Bill Barr didn't say. There's a lot that Bill Barr could have done that he chose not to do. There's a lot about whether or not Mike Pence could have or could not have done that he chose not to. Like, it's just sane washing. Look, you can say crazy shit with a calm tone of voice. You can say crazy shit by using word salad to make it sound like, oh, dude, like, I don't believe this. We were just talking about this the other day with conspiracy theorists, how, like, when you almost every time that you open a conversation with a conspiracy theorist that doesn't know you, they always begin the conversation by saying, look, man, like, I don't believe everything about the election being stolen, but there's some stuff that does seem kind of crazy. And they start it in that way because they don't know where you're at with your beliefs, and they don't want to come off as a fucking nutcase. So they start that way. But if you go, you know what? Hey, man, I'm pretty open-minded. I'll listen to whatever you have to say. Tell me, like, what do you think? Why do you think that the election was stolen? And you let them get rolling. Within 10 to 15 minutes of them talking about their favorite conspiracy theories surrounding the election, all of a sudden, they are that woman in the face paint. They are going, bro, you just don't understand. You have to do your own research, dude. Like, look, so I've got like 5 or 6 people that are on TikTok or X that if you follow those people, bro, you're going to find out like how crazy all this shit is. Look, I understand. Like, you don't know. So you don't know all this shit. And you're like, whoa, hold on. I thought you weren't pot committed to this. And it's like, no, I'm not. But I've read like every book and I've watched every TikTok and I spend like all of my time talking about these things. Like, no, you are. You're just as bad as them. You're fucking insane too. It's fucking it's incredible. Hey, what up, Cajun? How's it going, Cajun? You talked to 2 people to you that had the same, or tell you that had the same exact pushback. Yeah, they just repeat shit. It's fucking insane. They're learning. They're turning into like total NPCs. They're turning into bots. Yeah, and they get angry, right? When they get to it. Fucking nuts. Exactly, Alice. I love that. She's going to be like, you looked for the
More
one
than
with the
happy.
face.
Okay. Is it fair to say that you have more trust for Donald Trump than any other institution in America right now? Do you think that he tells the truth more so than...
I also think, Donald Trump could be controlled opposition.
You think so?
There could be a possibility. I'm not saying he is.
And what issues are most important to you?
the economy, immigration, and really just democracy in general.
Democracy in general. You think Trump is there to preserve our democracy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Now, Trump sent out this Truth Social post. It says he wants to terminate all rules, laws, and regulations, even those found in the Constitution. What do you think about that?
I think it's garbage.
That he said that, or that he...
No, that the liberals post that.
Oh, no, Trump posted it himself.
Okay,
on his own social media platform.
And was there other context around it?
Like, literally, it's a social media platform owned by Donald Trump. How did the liberals get on Truth Social and post something in Donald Trump's account on his social media platform? And he just like left it. He was like, you know what? Actually, that was a fire tweet. I'm gonna leave that one up. The liberals did a good job that time. It was a fire tweet. I'm just gonna leave it up.
He said that due to the election fraud in 2020, this necessitates a new election, even the termination of rules found in the Constitution.
So do you think there was election fraud?
No.
You don't?
No demonstrable election fraud. Even Bill Barr said no. Mike Pence said no. All 60 courts said no.
Not at all. You don't.
Where's your proof?
Where's my proof? I'm just going by what everyone has said, from that perspective.
But when I look at what everyone said, Trump says there's election fraud, but when people around him, like his closest advisors, people like Mark Meadows, even Mike Pence, even Bill Barr was his attorney general, all these people said, man, you got to stop with this election fraud lie. And Trump doubled down and he fired those lawyers and trusted Rudy Giuliani only. So that makes me worry when you say that he's saving democracy. In a way, he did try to subvert democracy.
So do you think there was any election fraud? No.
So what happened in Georgia is Trump claimed there were 30,000 dead voters, and the Republican governor...
Sounds like a lot, right?
Yeah, it sounds like a lot, but when they did three recounts and 3 risk-limiting audits, they found 4 dead voters, and they removed all of them. They found 4.
Including Ken Block, who was paid for by Donald Trump to investigate fraud. Look, Donald Trump's lawyers, the serious ones, the ones that didn't want to get disbarred, like Rudy Giuliani did, like was it Chesbrough and Eastman, like all of the people that got disbarred, like there was certain lawyers among Donald Trump's lawyers that were like, go ahead and investigate all this stuff, but please come back and let us know. Like, let us know, yay or nay, whether or not we should pursue these like judicial cases. And when he came back and he said, there's no demonstrable, election fraud that you guys are going to win a case with, they were like, thank you. They were appreciative of the fact that he came back and told them that, because they were real lawyers that were like, we don't want to lose our license. That should tell you that a person that was paid by Donald Trump to investigate election fraud went to lawyers that were paid by Donald Trump. Everybody involved in that scenario, paid by Donald Trump, said there was not enough election fraud to be able to have any kind of impact on the election. And what they did say was that due to exit polling done once again by a person that was in Donald Trump's campaign, and it is in Donald Trump's campaign today, exit polling done by that person showed that Republicans chose not to vote at all or to vote against Donald Trump. That's why he lost in 2020. It's not because of dead voters or felon voters or out-of-state voters, any of those things. It's because Republicans were like, this guy is going to destroy the country, or the company, depending on how you're looking at it, and we need to vote against him. They voted their own candidate out of office. That's why Donald Trump lost.
They found 4 dead voters, and they removed all of them. They found 4. So they did 3 recounts. So you bring up a good point, but my problem is all of these different cases, absolutely every vote should count. Yeah. But the thing is, Donald Trump is disenfranchising people when he tries to make us disillusioned with our institutions.
So let me ask you this.
Do you think the last election was stolen?
I think there was a lot of illegal votes.
Can you explain why Hillary Clinton claimed there was fraud in the election prior to that, and claimed that it was a stolen election?
Now that is a good question.
She just continues to say that today.
That's a good question.
Yeah, in the Mueller report, and I've said this before, is that Donald Trump proved exactly how good of a mafia boss Donald Trump can be with the Mueller report. Because the Mueller report, if you actually read it, you can see that there's something like 34 indictments. 3 of them were corporations. 7 of those people were put on trial. Roger Stone was found guilty. Michael Flynn was pardoned before being found guilty by Donald Trump. And when you look at it, what you see is that Donald Trump is very good at being a con man. He's very good at being a mafia boss, because he kept 6 degrees of separation between him and the people that were having communications with Russian interference. That's why Russians were literally indicted in the Mueller report. And like I said, Bill Barr actually pointed out, I think it was either 7 or 10 times, that Donald Trump, if he wasn't the sitting president at the time, would have actually, been put on trial. He was not put on trial because he was the sitting president. That's the reason Donald Trump did not get obstruction of justice charges from the Mueller report. So when Hillary Clinton came out and said there was election interference by the Russians, she was right. When Hillary Clinton came out and said that there was collusion between Donald Trump and the Russians, it was not provable in the Mueller report because Donald Trump is smart enough to know to keep 6 degrees of separation between him and his lackeys, so that way you cannot prove that there was collusion between Donald Trump and Russians. However, there is enough within the Mueller report for you to assume that there was, and to understand that there was 100% collusion between certain people in Donald Trump's campaign and Russians. And besides all of that, guess what happened when Hillary Clinton lost and they went through the Mueller report? She went home. She went home. She didn't for 4 years convince her followers that they should be on X, that they should be out rallying. She didn't convince her supporters to go on January 6th and attempt to overthrow the election. She didn't convince Joe Biden, who then was the vice president for Barack Obama, who was certifying the election results, to try to overturn the election. These comparisons between Hillary Clinton and the Russian interference claims and what Donald Trump did do not hold water. And I'm tired of sitting here and giving people grace and being like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Hillary Clinton did say that there was some kind of problem. Al Gore did say that Florida was bullshit. There is no parallel that can be drawn between what Donald Trump did and what Hillary Clinton or Al Gore did. Zero. Nada. Nothing. And I'm tired of acting like that it is, because you guys get your feelings hurt on the conservative side when you're like, but what about Hillary? What about the emails? You're fucking dumb. You're fucking dumb.
And she just continues to say that today.
That's a good question. So the difference that's a good question. That's a good question. If you want to hop in the interview, you can.
No, we're ready to
go. Then if we can,
don't belong here.
That's a good question. It's America, man. We all belong.
All good.
So the thing is, Hillary Clinton that night called Donald Trump and conceded the election and said, hey, I lost the election. Trump, years later, still has not conceded. And also, Hillary never made up lies of massive millions of votes. Hillary never held a ride at the Capitol.
It was a rather unique election, right? Because we had COVID. So it was the first time in U.S. history that they sent out, there were entire states that sent out mass mail-in ballots.
Yeah, and there's no issue with discussing that. But you can discuss it in a way that's logical. You can't just make claims of fraud because we did things differently. It was a very unique election. There was tons of absentee voting. There was tons of mail-in voting. In fact, a big part of why Donald Trump lost was probably because he went out and told people not to mail-in vote. There is a common denominator with everything that happens with Donald Trump losing, and it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump is his own worst enemy. If you want to talk about what happened in Pennsylvania with them moving up the date that they could count votes, or this is what it was. It was the date printed on the vote ballot. As long as it came in at a certain time, you were allowed to count it, regardless. And that was different than what Pennsylvania had done in the past. Pennsylvania was one of the only court cases out of, I think, the 62 court cases, the one court case that did find that there was something that should be looked into was in Pennsylvania, and it was over that. It then went to the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, and it was determined that what they did was constitutional as far as Pennsylvania's state constitution goes, and then the case was dropped. There was not a single case of election fraud that Donald Trump tried to push through that actually had any legitimate reasoning behind it. In fact, 33 of them were thrown out because of evidentiary concerns. In other words, they had no standing. There was nothing that anybody was going to waste their time or your tax dollars on to look at. So if you want to talk about, whether or not COVID and the election, whether or not it was weird and unique, yeah, for sure. And you can even talk about after the fact whether or not some of the things that happened should ever happen again. That's also something that should be talked about. By the way, they were talked about. And guess what? Everything that was seen, point out to me one thing that was done during the COVID election that has changed policy-wise as far as those ballots and stuff go. The only thing that I know of currently, I think, is in Ohio, where they said that they're not going to allow ballot boxes if people don't want them to be there. So county by county, where there was like a city councilman who went out and used like a hand truck to remove a voting box, and he was allowed to do that because they said county by county you can decide whether or not to have ballot boxes. That's the only thing. There hasn't been any like widespread changes to these laws. There hasn't been any like huge like earth-moving changes to how we did our voting in 2020 versus 2024. None. Zero. Because everything that they did then was constitutional.
And you know that is a sent out, there were entire states that sent out mass mail-in ballots. And you know that is a very big spot that could be fraud, right?
Yeah,
a very big spot,
they weren't,
huge spot.
Mail-in ballots are historically secure. Even Trump has voted via mail-in ballot. And the thing is, Donald Trump knew that the election, or that Democrats were going to overwhelmingly vote via mail-in ballot. So he specifically, remember when Donald Trump was saying, don't vote via mail-in ballot, it's going to be rigged.
Democrats vote wholesale.
Anyways, yeah. I mean, I think mail-in ballots, especially when you're a state and you mail them out to everyone on the voter rolls, even though the voter rolls haven't been vetted, I think that's a very strong case for a possibility that somebody would cheat.
Well, listen, this is America, and a fundamental piece of
possibility is an acceptable term. It's okay to say there may be something wrong with the way that we do something. It's when you're an absolutist that says, without a doubt, because my person lost, there's 100% no way there's no election fraud. That's the issue with MAGA. This is why I said before that when we had just like a Democrat conservative thing going on where we could talk to conservatives, we might have got heated. We might have had differing opinions. Certain things like abortion definitely were pretty fucking extreme conversations. But for the most part, almost all of the arguments between the conservative and Democrat side tended to be these types of arguments where you said, well, you know what? I don't think that we should tax people this much money. And then a liberal would say something along the lines of, I think that our tax is going to pay for social safety nets, for things like Social Security, for paying for the fire department, are actually all really good things. And you would have a conversation about whether or not those things are legitimately good or bad. And the problem with the MAGA Republican movement is they speak in absolutes. They come in and they go, there's no way there wasn't fraud. Are you kidding me? Mail-in balloting is fraudulent. There are people that are 100% taking advantage of the system and voting illegally. And you can't have conversations with those people. You can't have conversations with them because we have been doing mail-in balloting for a long time, and it has been secure. We have been doing in-person voting for a long time, and there are times that it has been insecure. Everything can be talked about, but you can't talk about it with a person that is in a fucking cult. That's the problem.
A possibility that somebody would cheat.
Well, listen, this is America, and a fundamental piece of America is that we are able to have conversations even though we differ. And some people would rather shut down conversations like we live in Russia than allow us to have good conversations because they're anti-American, unpatriotic people, right?
And really quickly, as I'm sure you can imagine, the coverage coming out of these past few debates has generated a lot of...
Ground News is awesome. You should use Ground News. I like Ground News too. This is not paid promotion. I'm just doing this commercial for Adam because his commercials are really long. I'm sure he has to do it for like a certain amount of time. Oh, is that it? That's the end. Okay. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate Adam. I love Adam. If you've never seen my interview with Adam, I have an interview with Adam Mockler on my podcast. It's called Cracking the MAGA Code. It was about how to talk to MAGA Republicans in an attempt to show them that they're fucking insane. And I've gotten so far away from it since then. Yeah, so Adam Mockler, super dope. Let me put Adam Mockler's channel in there. I know most of you guys are Adam Mockler fans, So if you haven't seen my interview with Adam, it wasn't my best interview, I'll be honest with you guys. It was one of the ones that I was like learning how to do all of this. But I still like, it's pretty close to my heart because it was before Adam blew up. Adam was about 70,000 subscribers at that time. He's at 500,000 now. So it's an interview I look back on with a lot of like love, for that time. So, really, really proud of Adam Mockler and everything that he's done since he's gotten to the heights of popularity that he has. And I really genuinely believe there's so much further for Adam Mockler to go. In the interview, at the end of the interview, I asked him, I said, is this what you want to do? You want to be talking to crazy Trump supporters the whole time, or you got like bigger dreams than that? And he said, what I really want to be doing is I want to be, doing interviews with big name senators and politicians on the red carpet. And he did. He went to the DNC and he did that. And I am so goddamn proud of Adam Mockler and everything that he's done. He's a young dude that's showing people like the right way to do things. So I really appreciate him. Please go and like and subscribe if you haven't. If you haven't liked and subscribed to my channel, please like and subscribe to my channel too. I appreciate when you guys like my videos, please. It helps with the algorithm. Let's see. Let's watch, speaking of these young people, let's watch Luke Beasley talk a little bit. Or actually, you know what? I wanted to watch this video because I saw this video and this is fucking hilarious. Because this dude, like, I like the videos that kind of like trick you. You think that they're going to be like a Trump supporter because we've got this idea what Trump supporters are or look like now. And then they do some funny shit like this. So if you guys haven't seen this video, this is a really funny video. I'm going to try and play this whole video without stopping it, okay? It's going to be really hard for me because I talk so much.
So they want to give my kid free lunch down at his public school, and that's pissing me off. That's socialism. I don't want my tax dollars going to socialism. I want my tax dollars going to stuff like the military and the police department. I want my local PD to have 8 Teslas in a tank. And just the thought of them not having 8 Teslas in a tank, it makes me sick. Because free lunch, that's socialism. And if you idiots don't know what that is, maybe get in your Chevy and drive down the road, past the post office and the fire department, the bus stop, the Social Security office, and stop off at your local library and maybe look it up, you idiots. I say no free lunch. Because you can't tell by my words and actions, but I'm a Christian. And we all remember Matthew 14 verses 13 to 21. And when Jesus was feeding all the people with the fishes and loaves and maybe a few Go-Gurts, and little Timmy walked up and he said, Mr. Jesus, I'm real hungry. And Jesus looked down on him and he said, sorry, pal, it looks like your lunch account's got a negative balance. And little Timmy said, but I'm very hungry. Can I have it? At least an Uncrustable. And Jesus said, you having an Uncrustable is impossible, you freeloading socialist. What you need to do is pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Or what are you wearing? At least them light up little Velcro shoes. Pick yourself up by them. Maybe get off your lazy 7-year-old ass and get a job. Maybe start a lemonade stand. And you better hope and pray to my dad that I don't call the cops on you for not having a permit.
Oh, dude. That is like, seriously, there's so much humor in pointing out the hypocrisy of the selfish, right? There's so much humor in pointing out the hypocrisy of the religious right because it's so goddamn absurd. This like weird thing that we have where we're like, we define something and then we're like, that's our thing. I've defined it and now I stick to it and I will never, ever, ever, ever give it up. It's like, so capitalism is good. Capitalism is the best. Capitalism is the only way. Well, what do you think about socialism? Socialism is terrible. It's the worst. Why is it terrible? Because it's not capitalism. So do you know that did you know that you could have capitalism with socialism? No, you can't, because socialism is bad. It's communism, and communism is bad. So socialism and communism are the same thing. And you know that they're not the same thing. They are the same thing. There is nothing more hilarious than having a person try and tell you how wrong you are about something that they know absolutely fucking nothing about. And there is nothing weirder than a Christian that is like, I love Jesus. Jesus is for the people. I'm a very religious Christian person that believes in good people get good things. So we should give young children lunches because, I mean, like, they deserve that, right? No. Why would I pay for your kid to have lunch? That's crazy. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, there is so much socialism inherent in our government that these people live off of on a day-to-day basis. A lot of the people on the right are old white people. They literally live off the very social safety nets that are provided to them by people that were smart enough to go, you know what we should have? Social safety nets. And they were like, no, fuck you. Jesus wouldn't be for that. Jesus don't like social safety nets. Jesus likes people that work hard. He don't like immigrants, though. Don't immigrants work hard? No, they're lazy. Didn't you say they're taking your job? Yeah, but they are taking my job, but they are lazy. So what does that mean if a lazy person can take your goddamn job? There is so much inherent hypocrisy in everything these people believe. It would be one fucking thing. It'd be one thing if it was just like one thing. If you were like, yo, bro, you know how you said that like immigrants are lazy, but they're also taking your job? Do you see it as hypocritical? And they're like, actually, I see that. You're right. That is kind of hypocritical. I get that. And you're like, all right, that's okay. I can accept that people are hypocritical. I can accept that. I can also accept that people can learn and get better. But it is so goddamn impressive how consistently hypocritical these people can be. It's like they chose the hypocrite life. They woke up one day and they were like, I wonder like how consistently hypocritical I can be on how many things. And then they just never stopped and they were doing it. It's like I say bro, okay? I say bro. The reason I say bro is because my buddy used to say bro all the time, right? And so when he would say bro, I would mock him by saying bro. And now I can never stop saying bro now because of that. I think that's like what they did, right? They woke up one morning and they were like, I'm just going to try being a hypocrite for like 30 days straight and then they just couldn't stop. It's fucking crazy. Is this a Deadpool show? It is kind of a Deadpool show. We got Ryan Reynolds. My wife is upstairs doing things to herself while Ryan Reynolds is on the screen. I got to get him off the screen before she leaves me. It's going to happen. My wife loves Ryan Reynolds. And what woman doesn't, to be honest? To be honest. It's just the way it is. Let's watch Luke Beasley talk about one of our favorite things. This is something I think we should never stop talking about people leaving Donald Trump's crowds early. If Donald Trump wins the election in 2024, which I steadfastly believe he does not, but let's just make plans, okay? Let's make contingency plans, guys. Let's make plans if Donald Trump wins the election in 2024 to consistently talk about Donald Trump's rally size and how small it is and people leaving it. I am going to put out countless videos that are titled People Leave Donald Trump's Press Event. People leave Donald Trump's State of the Union. Like, I'm going to start AIing some shit where like Republican senators just get up during his State of the Union address and leave. I mean, I might not have to be honest with you. It might actually happen. There might actually be like fucking like hippie sit-ins by conservative senators if Donald Trump wins. I just want you guys keep that one in your head. If he wins, we are making contingency plans. We are going to know what we are going to do before it happens.
Donald Trump is speaking in Reno, Nevada. And
Reno?
quite the event. Before getting into clips from it, though, something really interesting happened. Someone in my life who's not super liberal, who doesn't keep up with the same news cycles as I do, happened to be at this event and texted me about it. I don't even think he knows how big of a deal this has become, what he took note of. But it's hilarious that he did. So, because I haven't asked for his permission to share his name or why he's there, I won't. I'll just say he's not a fan. He's working in some capacity. But he texted me this. Luke, I wish I was making a time lapse of all the people leaving this rally while Trump's talking. Pretty bizarre, because to get into the venue, they were waiting in line for 4 to 12 hours only to leave as soon as he starts talking. As soon as he starts talking, they run out, they flee.
So this is one of the weird things. And look, I'm not big with all the conjecture, okay? Like, you guys heard me say it a bunch of times. Like, my reasoning behind why Donald Trump is a bad president is going to have a firm foundation of policy. That's where I want to be. I don't like getting into the conjecture. I do think it's funny, and I do make jokes about it and stuff like that. But when you hear something like that, right, that like people are waiting 4 to 12 hours in line to get in, and then they're leaving minutes after he starts talking, like that to me says there's a potential that people are being paid to show up to these rallies. And I don't even care. Like, I don't care. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to spend your campaign funds on, is to have people show up and make your rallies look bigger, that's on you. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's weird, but, you know, I think you should have, like, organic views. I don't pay for subscribers. I don't pay for views. I think it'd be weird for me to do something like that. But, hey, if you're somebody out there that wants to spend $1,000 on that shit, that's on you. You know, you get what you put in. So it does seem weird that a bunch of people would spend 4 to 12 hours in line and then leave almost immediately after you got there. Now, mind you, I guess that also does make sense, because if, let's say, you'd been in line for 8 hours, then you get inside and it's not like as, like, you know, fun as you thought it was. He wasn't as interesting as you thought it was. Or maybe you're just there to, like, take a picture of him. Maybe it's like you're Instagram people and you're like influencers, so you're just like, all you have to do is prove you were there to keep your base happy. I can see a lot of those things happening as well. So I guess that does kind of make sense in certain areas, but it also, like, it does lead you to believe that potentially some of those people there are being paid. And the reason that that could be bad is because if you're Donald Trump and you talk about your rally size as often as you do, that's kind of cheating, if that's what's going on. Reverend Potty Mouth says, no matter how good things get, as we wait for Biden's work to run down, we should do like Republicans and just bitch about any and everything. And that's literally what they do. Like, Joe Biden has done a phenomenal fucking job over the past 4 years. You can criticize is Israel Hamas conflict. You can criticize, you know, some of his establishment Democrat stuff, but Joe Biden has done a phenomenal job. I can't say phenomenal today. And I do believe he's in the top 15 of presidents, and I think he could move into the top 10 of presidents if over the next, like, 4 to 8 years, we start to see some of the things from, like, the Chips and Science Act really, like, take effect. I genuinely believe that, and I'd be willing to debate somebody on whether or not I'm correct about that. But it is insane to sit here and watch Republicans try to make it out to be this hellscape that we live in. It's been insane to watch Republicans sit here and try and make it out to be that there's, like, literal, like, immigrant warfare going on, and transgenders are grooming your children. I guess that's one thing you can say right now, is that transgender people finally, like, got some of the pressure taken off of them for, like, a week or two. Like, finally transgender people are like, whoo, it's not us they're talking about. That's how, like, crazy it is to live in the Republican world right now. It's like, it's legitimately, you are deciding which group of people you currently hate the most. Like, for a while it was transgender people, and then it was the pro-choice people, and now it's the immigrants. We moved on to the eating the dogs. That's where we moved on to. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Yeah, the Venmo payment went through. That's what I was
as soon as he starts talking. As soon as he starts talking, they run out, they flee. And it's not that big of a deal, except for that he makes such a deal of it. At rallies recently,
exactly. That's
he's been saying, no one leaves my rallies. No one leaves. Kamala says that people leave. No one leaves. If they did leave, I would end the event. And then recently he went, do you see those people leaving? They're not actually leaving. They're actually just coming around later because they're going to take a picture with me or something.
Yeah, we watched that video. Yeah.
Meanwhile, this individual, as I've witnessed as well, can document indeed people immediately by the hundreds start leaving. I guess that hurts Trump so much because he thinks his value comes with the cult-like dedication to him or his entertainment value.
It's 100% insecurity. It's insecurity. It's like a dude that, brags about his dick size the whole time. It's like he's probably got a small penis because he's like, it's just insecurity. It's a person. I've always said this about people fighting. It's like I told my kids a long time ago. You don't have to worry about the person that talks about how they do this or how they do that. Oh, you know what I do when things happen? Oh, I mop that dude. All that shit. Like, you don't have to worry about that dude. That dude's full of shit. He's insecure. He's scared. The person you have to worry about is the guy that's sitting there and not saying anything while you're talking mad shit to him, because all he's thinking about is what he's about to do to you. That's what he's thinking about. Donald Trump talks about rally size because Donald Trump actually knows. As a narcissist, he knows what's wrong. He just doesn't want you to believe it's wrong. In fact, in that Woodward book, he goes on to say, and even I think in Ivanka Trump's book as well, she says that when people believe a certain thing about you and it's wrong, don't correct them. Not if it's a good thing. If they believe something about you, like your rally size is really big, then don't correct them and tell them that your rally isn't. Like, let him believe that. And that's who he is as a person, is he wants you to believe something, and then if you don't want to believe it, then he's going to correct you. But if you're just a MAGA supporter, you're a cult member that'll just regurgitate anything he says, then he'll just let you believe that. Like, when the dude tells you who he is, you should believe that's who he is.
He thinks his value comes with the cult-like dedication to him or his entertainment value or whatever, and that seems to run contrary to it. But this wouldn't be something that's so emphasized if Trump didn't make it such a big deal, and then if it weren't the perfect way to demonstrate on Kamala Harris's part how easy to manipulate Trump is, because all you got to do is poke at his ego and he loses it. Now, with that being said, before getting into the most unhinged things that happen, here is Trump responding to a baby crying.
Hundreds of billions of dollars from China. Never happened before. And don't let that baby bother you, because it doesn't bother me. To me, it's that beautiful. Where is that baby?
Was that sarcastic?
No, I don't actually. So actually, I disagree with Luke here. I don't think it is sarcastic, because going back far enough in the chronology of videos for Donald Trump, there's that video where he says something negative about the woman with the baby. And then they use that to parallel to Joe Biden going out and like helping a mom that had her baby and being like, oh, it's okay. Like, that baby can cry as much as she wants. Like, that baby's, she don't want to hear me speak. She bored. Like, Joe Biden like had the complete opposite reaction. And I bet you Donald Trump right now is trying to use that to be like, see, I do like babies. They say I don't like babies. I love babies. Like, that's the con man. That's the clown. That's the con man.
And don't let that baby bother you, because it doesn't bother me. To me, it's that beautiful. Where is that baby?
Was that sarcastic?
Do you guys know what this reminds me of? You guys ever watch battle rap? God, I laugh at my own jokes too much. It reminds me of that moment where somebody's like, and Bill's got on a white shoe because he a Jew. And then it like walks over and like everybody's like, oh, and they're like pointing at him and stuff. And they're like, fucking raw. And he's just like, you guys know what I said? Boom, got him. got him. Like, that's what this reminds me of. Like, he just, like, was like, that's such a weird thing to be like, that's so strange to be like, I like babies. Mic drop. That's not really like a mic drop moment. Oh my God, that was so strange. That's such a strange thing. Oh man. Let's move on. What up, Bucket? Why would you chant USA to that? Like, do other cultures not like babies?
He mouths, "That's a good baby. That's a good one." It's like when he was at the grocery store that we covered, and there's a baby. He goes, "Is this yours?"
Weird.
Perfecto. Just, I get that Trump supporters find that very likable, and I can't specifically explain why it feels off to me, but I feel like when he tries to engage with children, it's clear that he doesn't get it. It's like when he talks about his kids. How did you instill character in them and determination? And all he can respond is, I said no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes, I guess. All right, back to the topic. Let's kill drug dealers was one of the recent moments we covered. Before going further in this rally, that baby crying moment reminded me of Biden's interactions with a baby crying.
To do that when I was in school. That's okay. Look, she's allowed to do anything you want. Kids rule in my house, okay? What's the matter? What's the matter? I don't blame you. I'm bored with me too. Yeah. What are you doing? How old is she? 2 years old. I tell you what, that's a good age. Hold her tight. Well, anyway, look.
By the way,
Can you imagine if Joe Biden, like, he could have, when he said, I don't blame you, I'm bored with me too. He could have looked back at those people behind him and been like, yeah, well, that's a good one though, right? Fucking boom. Like, he could have done that. But he didn't. You know why? Because he was being, like, real. He was actually, like, saying, like, he was making a joke that was funny to him. And also, like, he was being an actual human being. He didn't turn around to the other people and be like, boom, got him. Fucking USA, USA, USA. That shit's cringe that fucking Trump thinks, like, saying that he's okay with the baby is a mic drop moment where you should fucking chant USA. It's weird, dog. It's weird. Trump and his supporters are weird.
I tell you what, that's a good age. Hold her tight. Well, anyway, look.
By the way, that maybe I'm being biased, but that seems to be a much more human interaction with the baby.
I'm getting
better. But I do
at
have to say,
I'm calling it before they say it.
I've wondered this before. Is there a bad age? Is it appropriate to ever say, 3? Because I only ever hear, that's...
No, 2 is a bad age. Okay, first of all, Joe Biden's a goddamn liar. They're called the terrible 2s for a reason. It's actually like the terrible 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s, I would say. I love my kids to death, but they were a gigantic pain in the ass in their 2s and 3s. And they'll watch this one day, and they'll hear me say that, and they'll know it's true. Okay?
Only ever hear, that's such a good age. That's a good... But I feel
only
like...
grandparents believe
and maybe this is sort of a dark point. If you're going to say something's a good thing, isn't there something you could juxtapose that against? I guess those tween years can be rough. But obviously a very likable.
The terrible 21s.
And then Trump finds it hilarious to, as Aaron Rupar put it, pay tribute to Rush Limbaugh, the late right-wing radio personality.
I love the ads on RSBN, dude. It's always ivermectin, but this time it's get your hands on a free tack knife today. FreeKnifeUSA.com. Like, that doesn't even sound real, right? Like, That's some shit you would have seen in like a comedy like 20 years ago. FreeKnifeUSA.com. God, it's so always so weird to look at their ads. It cracks me up.
Radio personality. By saying Obama's middle name a bunch of times, emphasize for, let's be honest, bigoted reasons.
Originally, she was a big Barack Hussein Obama. Have you ever heard of him?
Oh, by the way, before playing the rest of this clip, please do click the subscribe button if you haven't already.
Don't forget to like and
we are
subscribe
doing
mine too.
all we can to race before the election to 1 million subscribers. Quite the milestone.
I'm a long
Thank
way
you so
from 1 million
much to
subscribers, but we're getting
the
there.
800-something thousand people who've done that already. You are amazing. Join the club, people.
Originally, she was a big Barack Hussein Obama. Have you ever heard of him? Remember Rush Limbaugh? Rush Limbaugh, he'd be talking about it, we'd go, Barack, he'd like falling asleep, Barack Hussein Obama. That's Barack Hussein Obama. We miss Rush, right?
What a redunk.
That is one
no
way
showers.
to pay tribute to someone.
No showers.
We miss them because you remember when they would do that thing where they thought it was hilarious to emphasize the middle name of Obama for some reason? Then,
like, there is legitimately no other reason than you're just being racist. Like, you can't, like, logically explain why a person would over and over again say, Barack Hussein Obama. The craziest part about that is Barack and Obama aren't exactly hot names. Like, you could have just went with Barack Obama. Like, yeah, but he has the same name as Saddam Hussein. If you guys didn't notice, I'm drawing comparisons between Barack Obama and Saddam Hussein. Obviously, like the same exact people. And they're also both brown. You skip work just to be here? Good job, Redonk. Good job. The show's almost over, but good job. Thanks, Redonk. Appreciate you. Hussein
Obama for some reason. Then
okay, so we start doing it. Isn't it's Donald John Trump, right? Should we start doing that from now on? Donald John Trump. It doesn't have the same ring to it. Donald John Trump. Donald John Trump. Should we do that from now on? How about what is JD's real name? JD I fuck couch Vance. Bring in Bruce Buffer. That's a good idea. Ooh, fight night begun. Ooh, nice, Alan. I've got a soccer game I gotta go to. Trump mushroom dump. Donald John Boy Trump. Jessica. Oh, that's a good one, Bucket. Donald Jessica Trump. Oh, we gotta think of some good ones. What are some good J names that Donald Trump would absolutely hate? Donald Jailhouse Trump. That one's pretty good, but it's not great. It's time! Okay, you guys, Donald Jerome Trump. Oh, that's a good one. Donald Jamal Trump. He probably liked that, though. He like, it makes me sound more black.
I know he keeps repeating this.
This is what's going to happen when Donald's like, I'm the J in my name. It's actually for Jamal. I'm actually partially black. I'm much more black than Kamala is. I'm more black than a lot of people. A lot of people say Donald Jamal Trump, he's one of the blackest people I know. And he says some like racist shit, He's like, I'm really good at basketball. They say it, it's true. They say it. They say Donald Jamal Trump, he's really good at basketball. You wouldn't believe it. You take a look at me, you say, look at him, he doesn't really have the body for basketball. But Donald Jamal Trump, he's practically Jordan. They should change it to Donald Jordan Trump. Because how good I am at basketball. I once beat Kobe Bryant one-on-one. You didn't know that, did you? Yeah, that's right. That's why he crashed his helicopter. I'm sorry. That was too far. That was too far. I am so sorry. Do not cancel me. Don Juanito Trump. Donald Jorge Trump. That's right, I said it. Donald Jelly Roll Trump. God, okay, you guys, I have a bad short-term memory, so you guys are going to have to remind me to do this, okay? Donald
this, can't
Trump.
Understate how absolutely insane this is.
That's election interference. They're interfering with the election. Am I right? They should lose their license, and 60 Minutes should be taken off the air.
Totally not a dictator move. Like, totally not Napoleonic to say we should, like, you know, take a media company off the news or off the airwaves. A news company. Totally not a dictator move, guys. That's just normal stuff. Pay no attention. What the fuck, man?
And 60 Minutes should be taken off the air.
He keeps saying, and he's promised more overtly with the term government, should take 60 Minutes and other outlets he doesn't like off of the air.
That's literal fascism.
If you believe yourself to be someone who values the First Amendment, you would oppose that. But many of you don't. Well, many of the people I'm talking to do, but many people out there don't, unfortunately. And the reason he keeps railing against 60 Minutes is because he has a boo-boo still from getting embarrassed by Leslie Stahl in the 2020 interview, which is why he backed out of the 2024 one. But what he's citing is that edits were in the Kamala Harris interview, not realizing that edits were in his interview too.
Yeah.
Because the interview is longer than what you're going to broadcast.
That's what I'm going to say. Like, if you watch my videos that I cut for the stream, I cut out, like, a lot of this kind of stuff where I stop and talk. Like, I cut out, like, when I'm, like, much longer-winded. Like, Donald Trump, of all people, was a fucking reality TV show guy. Like, dude, like, there is more edited footage of Donald Trump than there probably is of, like, most human beings. Like, Donald Trump is actually a character that was created through the process of editing media. Like, you know what? You know who I blame for this? Joe Rogan. That's who I blame for, like, almost all of this stuff nowadays. I'm currently on a tilt of blaming the WWE Attitude Era of wrestling and Joe Rogan. I'm slowly piecing together this foundation for my beliefs that this is all going back to the mid-90s when the WWE Attitude Generation was going on, and then Joe Rogan's, like, debate me, bro. Everybody should be talked to. Dude, no editing. It's got to be a 3-hour talk or it's not real. Like, I blame the majority of the downfall of society on Vince McMahon and Joe Rogan currently. Those are currently the people I believe fucked this up. And we thank you for not making us sit through it twice. No problem, Reverend. No problem. I can't sit through. I had to sit through me like 5 times while I edit. It's fucking horrific.
That edits were in his interview too, because the interview is longer than what you're going to broadcast
Tommy,
on television.
I call people names all day long.
It's in a very specific time slot.
I enjoy making fun of people.
60 minutes has to be perfectly filled. You then have edits. Go watch any 60-minute interview. There's obvious edits in there. That's how it goes. This is not coined as a live, unedited broadcast. They edit.
So Trump
for the
lost
purposes
like a long time ago, like when he began.
A better presentation for the audience. They did it with Trump. They did it with anyone who's been interviewed. Marjorie Green. And he said that's why they should lose their license. Election interference. He's deranged. He's losing his mind. Then this.
And they have a radical
talking about the Colorado governor.
Left governor who's petrified.
Police.
He doesn't want anything
Police.
to do with it. He's afraid. He's chicken shit, okay? He's afraid.
Oh, you really shouldn't call people names. Totally doesn't call people names. Damn, that was good timing, Tommy. Fuck. Look, I admit I call people names. I like doing it. I think it's super fucking funny. I talk shit to people. I'm good with it, dog. Like, at the end of the day, I'm the type of person you can call me names. I'm going to call you names. I'm going to be a real-ass dude. I'm not going to hide behind a facade of trying to act like I'm better than anybody else. I'm just, like, going to straight up call you. If I think you're dumb, you're dumb. If I think the shit you say is stupid, I'm going to tell you it's stupid. At least you know with me that what I say is what I mean, and what I mean is what I say. So, I mean, Donald Trump stands up there and calls people all kinds of names all day, and then his supporters are like, you shouldn't call me things. It's mean. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I don't understand when Trump does something that he's so visibly proud of, and the audience eats it up when it's so
They love that shit.
insignificant, maybe? I don't know. Because lately, he multiple times in his speech will just go, what you heard there, or that's bullshit. It's just sort of, okay, I don't know why y'all are making such a big deal of this. You think it's hilarious, but he also finally
It's because he laughs, so they laugh. That's how big of a bot they are. Like, if people in MAGA talk about how the left is, they just follow along and everything. They do nothing but criticize Joe Biden. Like, literally, there's a chance that Kamala Harris will lose Michigan. Not because there's a bunch of Republicans that are going to vote for Donald Trump. No, because there's a bunch of people on the left that are heavily critical of Joe Biden's policy in Israel. That's why. Meanwhile, on the right, in the actual cult is where a dude laughs, so all the people that are around him laugh. Dude cheers, so all the people around him cheer. They're literal fucking NPCs. They're bots. Like, I would 100% believe it if you could open up one of these people's domes and pull out the chip. Like, I'd be like, that's real. That's actually, look, not surprising. Look, there's two things that I said recently won't surprise me. I'm going to repeat the first one. If an alien bursts out of Elon Musk's big-ass, weird, deformed-looking, fucked-up chest, I would be, like, not surprised. I wouldn't even twitch. I'd be like, yep, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Okay? And if you opened a Trump supporter's dome up and there was wiring and fucking cogs and like full-on, like, robot shit inside of it, I'd be like, fuck. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Kind of thought it was. That's real. Wow. Mildly more surprised than if an alien burst out of Elon Musk's weird ass looking chest, though. I do have to admit that. Let's see. Reverend says, watch that later. They arrested that person in Pennsylvania for removing those boxes, and they got hit with interfering. No shit. So he did get in trouble for that. That's pretty funny. Dude, Elon's villain arc has already started, Redonk. The Elon Musk villain arc. Redonk, if you didn't watch the video with us the other day, you should check out Elon Musk laughing with Tucker Carlson about getting put in prison. That's like one of the fucking weirdest videos I've ever seen. Straight up villain laughs, dude. Speaking of,
it's just sort of, okay, I don't know why y'all are making such a big deal of this. You think it's hilarious, but he also finally admitted, hey, I don't do so well with black
I don't
women.
call people names, and he's like, tell me about your pronouns.
I have gone through the roof with black men.
Tommy got triggered.
Black men.
Tommy got triggered hard.
I don't do quite as well with black women, I must say. I don't know why, but I'm sure that'll work out too. But
what the fuck?
Probably not. Yeah, you don't know why. I would just encourage you to do the slightest bit of introspection on that one.
and she's actually worse than him. Okay, we defeated him, and then now we have to defeat another one. I shouldn't have defeated him. It would have been just as easy.
He really does.
Dude is literally ducking a debate. Dude's like, I beat the old guy that was up past his bedtime, but then I debated the prosecutor, and I lost so fucking bad that I started talking about Haitians eating dogs. She triggered me in the first 5 minutes by telling me my rally size was really small, which it isn't. My rally size is actually really big, and I'm totally not triggered by the fact that she said that my rally size was small. But I can tell you this right now. People don't leave my rallies. They don't at all. I don't know what she's talking about. First of all, she's a kook. She's crazy. She doesn't know what's going on. I'm not triggered. Trump and his supporters are like two peas in a pod.
It would have been just as easy.
Crazy as fuck.
he really does wish he never had that debate with Biden and Biden never dropped out. Man, he wishes he could still be running against Biden. A weird thing
Yeah,
to keep
he does.
fantasizing about, Donald, than this.
I don't know. By the way, go buy her book. Her book is great. I was a little nervous when I read it because I said, I wonder if she's going to be hitting me hard. No, she was very nice. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend it. It's very simple. Now,
Dude, God, these are such good grifts. Like, that's you can hate Donald Trump as much as you want, but he is quite possibly the best con man we've seen since Bernie Madoff. And he knows stupid people. He just knows the human beings that exist within our societies that are so uneducated, so unintelligent, so moronic, so aggressively gullible, and he knows what makes them tick. Like, there's so many of us out here that are just like, you watch this happen and you're like, bro, anybody could do that. But you have to have a completely non-existent moral floor. If you have a completely non-existent moral floor, you could do what he just did. He's like, bro, buy my wife's book. Like, he just throws that shit out there. God damn. Like I said, hate Donald Trump all you want. This fucker is the con man of the century. At least a decade.
go buy it. It's great.
I know that's him doing MAGA humor, but what? I don't know. I don't think I know a really happy, healthy relationship in my life that is such that I'd be worried about a book coming out from that person because of what they could say about me, or my parents who are very happily married. I know that neither.
No, it's 100% MAGA humor. It's what was that show with Archie Bunker that was like making fun of Republicans, and they just didn't like get that character was literally a stereotype of like shitty dudes and how they treat their wives. Like, instead they like embraced it and they're like, yeah, that's my shit. He knows what I'm talking about. My wife's a nag. Oh, I can't have any peace. I like working because when I'm at work, I don't have to deal with my wife. Like, that's Trump humor, dude. That's 100% Trump humor. My wife hates me. Isn't it funny? Oh, shit, brother. You know what I'm saying? Your wife hates you, too. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. I can barely go home. She hates me so much. Probably gonna kill me in my sleep. Like, that's that old white dude humor right there, bro. Like, me and a friend of mine talk about it. He works for UPS, and he's like, yo, bro, like, I don't get it. Like, I try to get my shit done in 8 hours. I want to go home. I want to see my wife. I want to see my kids and shit. And he's like, all these other dudes, like, they stretch out their hours because they're like, fuck it, I don't want to go home. My wife's there. It's like, dude, that's a sad-ass life, bro. That's a sad-ass life. Like, I love my wife. I love my kid. I love being around my family, dude. Like, if that ain't going on in your life, and if you're in my chat and that ain't going on in your life, like, make that shit happen. Work on it, dog. It's a beautiful feeling to like, coming home. It's a beautiful feeling to, like, go home and like, enjoy your time at your house. Like, that's what it should be all about. But that's not what Trump supporters are into. They're into that, like, fucking, like, you know what I'm saying? I fucking done some messed up shit to my wife. She might write about it in a book. Oh, god damn. God damn.
Neither of them would be that worried about the other writing a book. But Trump, even in his joke, there's always a little kernel of truth there. Knows that something about their relationship, if it were revealed, would be very embarrassing. I think that's not exactly breaking news, but notable for sure. I'm going to leave it there on that one. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Support the show. Get the member.
Probably the funniest thing about this video is it just goes to show the generational gap of how Luke Beasley's like doesn't quite understand why these old ass angry white people laugh at like this dumb shit like this. Like, I love seeing the generational gap there because it gives me hope for the future. It makes me feel like young people are actually on the right track. Like, the fact that he's kind of like, I don't get it. Like, my parents had a healthy relationship. What's the joke? That actually makes me feel better. That makes me feel better. Like, it makes me feel good about this. All right. I got to get ready for a soccer game. It's soccer time. It's time for me to go do my best to not yell at the referees. Because that kid, that was a foul. That was a... Offsides! Offsides! I got to do my best not to do that. Like, because I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that parent at a soccer game. But I'm totally that parent. Just inside. Inside, I scream. I rage. I'm like, was it a goal? No, it was cross the line, Smokey! Like, there's a lot of that shit kind of going on. So, I got to prepare myself mentally for this. I appreciate you guys for being here. Let's check out. Let's see what the poll says. Who has done the most damage to Trump? We're all on the same page. It's Trump. If you haven't liked the stream, please like the stream. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're at 18,100 subscribers now. We're moving on up, guys. The goal was 20,000 by the end of the year, and I said there's no way we'll get to 20,000. We set a goal that was way above what we thought we could get to, and we're almost to 20,000 subscribers. I fucking love you guys. You guys are the best. You guys are what make America great. Don't need to make America great because I already got all these cool-ass people that make it happen, okay? For those of you guys out there, thank you, Redog, for the 5 gifted subs. Redog just gifted Dark Cash's favorite person a sub. That's the kind of America I want to live in, okay? That's the kind of America I want to live in. Spikin! I see you, Spikin! I hope you're doing okay, Spikin. Love you. Appreciate you guys. Sorry if I didn't see some of you guys. Ichabod, what up, buddy? Sorry if I didn't see you guys. 5 subs from Redonk. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that does that. Thank you to everybody. That's like, I want to say this. I would rather that you guys, if you're going to give me $15, I would rather you give 5 people memberships than give me $15. Because like that, like gives something to people, like, right? Like it makes them feel good. Like, if you're ever thinking about donating money to me, I would prefer that you give subs to people, give memberships to people. That would be, that's what I'd like people to start trying to do. For those of you that don't know, you can literally click the join button underneath my video. And on that video, you can join the Angry Ginger Army and you can support me for 10 cents a day or $3 a month. Cheaper than Netflix and much more entertaining. Don't have to scroll through to find something to watch. I do it for you. Okay, $3 a month. If you can't join, you can always go to progressivematters.com/home and you can donate through the PayPal links, or you can buy yourself a sweet ass Lock 'em Up shirt, or get yourself a Kickin' Ass Making America Laugh Again shirt. Show your support for Kamala Harris. I have it down to almost cost, so that way we can just sell those shirts and people can get them and support Kamala Harris. As far as if you can't support me financially, completely understand that. I love you guys anyways. I'm super thankful for everybody that comes and follows me. You can do the best thing you can do for me is show up, be active in chat, like, share, subscribe, and go to my videos that I put out. We got another video that's doing pretty well right now. I think we got almost 2,000 views on it. It's doing pretty good. So you go and you click that, like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends about it. So I appreciate you guys so fucking much. Yeah, join the Discord. Join the Discord, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm super thankful for everybody that comes here and watches my videos and makes these shows as awesome as they are. So we got 3 weeks till the election. It's going to be a very interesting time. No matter what happens, Kamala wins. It's going to be interesting. Trump wins. It's going to be crazy. So it's good. We're going to see what happens 3 weeks. I still steadfastly believe Kamala Harris wins with like a 273, 265 vote. We're going to see what happens, but that's my current prediction. I still predict that Kamala will end up taking Michigan. I still predict that Kamala will end up taking Nevada. I believe that Trump's going to take Georgia and Arizona, but I think that it's going to be enough for Kamala to win, taking Pennsylvania as well. So, yeah, that's what I believe. We're going to see what happens, and I hope you guys are here for it next 3 weeks. All right, guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm super thankful for you being here. Next show is tomorrow morning. If you're a football fan, we get up at about 9 in the morning here at Pacific Standard Time, and we talk about football. So if you guys want to be here and watch me talk about football, no politics, just all football, all fun, all the time. We'll be here at 9 o'clock in the morning. All right, guys. See you next time.